Yo, how is it going? Hold on, that is way too loud on my end. It should be fine on your end, though. Hi, how's it going? It has been a while. My nephews came to visit, so I haven't had much time at all to stream, and in the times that I've had, I've just been really tired, so it has been like a month since we were last live with, well, I did the first episode of Apollo Justice, and then me and Bryce watched the Persona 3 movies, but, you know, now we're back. We're going to be continuing off where we left off on the first case, and I've got some nice hot tea here, you know, to honor the tradition. We usually drink tea while we're playing these because it's good for my throat, and doing the judge's voice fucking kills it. So, you know, we got it. You know, yeah, I'm trying to remember what happened last time, and I'm kind of drawing a blank here, so this is what I'm gonna do. Let's head over to live, and let's just pop on in to our save. Trial forward, yeah. And what we're gonna try to do is, yeah, while I wait for, well, it hasn't been 5 minutes yet, so the tea isn't done steeping. But once it is, I need to get some Splenda in here. So while I'm doing all that, I'm gonna be just running through the court record, trying to figure out what's going on, right? Just try to get a basic understanding, try to refresh my memory of the case, what's going on. Let's start with the profiles. Alright. Christoph Gavin, boss at Gavin Law Office's first-rate defense attorney and my trusted mentor. Okay. Phoenix Wright, punished Phoenix, fallen legend. A lawyer denied his bar. Pianist at the Borscht Bowl Club, formerly an ace attorney of some renown. That's fucking slander is what that is. Jesus. Yeah, okay, so Phoenix is the defendant. He was a pianist, but really what he did was play poker and never lost in like years. So he was like the bar's main attraction and whatever. And while during a poker match, something happened, and the guy he was playing poker against wound up dead, and people think it was him. So, oh yeah, and there was also that one girl in the room. Okay, it's coming back to me. It's coming back to me. I also vaguely remember kind of suspecting Gavin, but I don't remember what my reasoning for that was, so we'll have to come back to that. Shady Smith, right, this was the victim. A traveler only recently back in country. Huh. Yes, he was a shady guy. Oh, right, I'm pretty sure he tried to cheat during the game, right? With the help of the girl? I don't remember exactly, but I know that there was cheating involved. There were 2 sets of cards meant to prevent cheating, but if you had the dealer on your side, then cheating would still be possible. I know she tried to accuse Phoenix of cheating, but it would seem he was the one cheating, maybe? He also had a locket, right? Winston Payne wearing his worst haircut in years. The little ahoge. The prosecuting attorney. For all his experience, he lacks a certain presence. Ah! God, that teabag is hot! Ah! Ah! Fuck! Olga Orly. Witness in this case, a Russian waitress at the Borscht Bowl Club. Right, okay, so she's another possible suspect because she was in the room at the time of the murder. And her testimony claimed that, according to her testimony, Phoenix was cheating. Shady figured out this because they ended up having, too many of a certain type of card. And so Phoenix attacked Shady, going for the throat. Then something happened. Shady ended up getting bonked in the head, and that's how he died. Interesting. So, a couple of things that are interesting about that, now that it's coming back to me. is the fact that despite the fact that they had 5 of a certain card, which should be possible, right? And it's... right? So they play the cards and they realize, shit, we got 5 of, like, I don't remember what type of card it was. I think it was like a queen. They had 5 of the same card, which is not possible since decks only have 4 of a kind. So what happened then is, however, in the crime scene photos, that is not apparent because someone came in afterwards and actually swapped out one of the cards that would have indicated cheating and swapped it out for a card that would be, you know, for a card that would be of a different number. That way, it would look like no cheating was happening. And also very deliberately, a card that made it look like Shady Smith was winning. And I suppose it would make sense, right? If you're trying to frame Phoenix right, you want to make it look like his opponent is winning. Because if his opponent is winning, right, that would mean, you know, Phoenix has a reputation to protect. He's undefeated. So if his opponent is winning, it makes sense that he might resort to extreme measures to try to keep that, you know, try to stop him, since he had a perfect win record. Kind of reminds me of, wait, do I still have Edgeworth's? I still have Edgeworth's theme playing in the background. I'm sorry about that. That's gone now. Actually, can we play? Can we get, like, game audio? There we go. Thank you. Okay, back to the court record now. I just wanted to have some background music that wasn't just Edgeworth's theme from Justice for All. Yeah, let's go back to profiles. Yeah, okay, now it's all coming back to me. So we know for a fact that Phoenix was winning. However, whoever's trying to frame Phoenix wanted to make it look like Shady was winning. That makes sense. The only issue was that they didn't realize that the second deck of cards in that room had a completely different back color than the first deck. One was red, one was blue. So as a result, it was pretty easy to tell that one of the cards had been swapped out. Now, it's our job to figure out who swapped out those cards, because whoever did so, the only real motive to swap out the cards that I can think of would be to frame Phoenix right. So, who would want to frame Phoenix right other than the murderer? So that leaves the only possibility being that whoever swapped out the card is the murderer. The question is who swapped out the card. Now the thing is, right, looking at this list of characters, right, it doesn't make sense for it to be Phoenix because he would be incriminating himself. Shady would have been dead. We've already established that the swap happened after the game was over because when you're holding a, you know, set of cards, your opponent can see the back of them. So if the card had been swapped out, Phoenix would have noticed that there was a card of the wrong color mixed in there. That's the whole point of having decks of 2 separate colors, so that people can't, you know, use a different colored card and then, you know, like if someone could be like, ah yes, they're playing with a red deck, I'm gonna bring a red ace to put up my sleeve and then I can take it out, and then they swap and they play with the blue deck and he's like, oh fuck, you know? That's the whole point. So you could not have swapped out the card while the game was happening. That's not possible. It had to have happened afterwards. So Shady would have been dead by then, so it doesn't make sense. That leaves Olga, the only other person in the room, but the problem with Olga, why it could not have been her, is that she, as a waitress of the club, should have known the fact that there were 2 decks of different colors, and she would have checked to see which card she was putting in. It doesn't make sense that she wouldn't, since she had that information. And if she was doing this whole complicated frame job, you'd think she'd at least do that much of her due diligence, right? But no. This implies that whoever swapped out the cards had no knowledge of the fact that there were 2 separate decks of different colors, meaning that whoever swapped out the cards had never played poker at the Borscht Bowl Club and didn't work or wasn't a regular at the Borscht Bowl Club. That instantly eliminates Olga, Phoenix, and Shady, who, I mean, you don't have to eliminate him, he's dead. Currently, in our profiles, that really only leaves Winston and Kristoff, right? The thing is, neither of them have any kind of motive, connection to the case, or really anything that ties them to this. So, really, I'm just thinking about them because they are literally, by process of elimination, the only two people who could possibly be involved in this. So either it has to be one of them, or we're gonna have to get some new people involved during this latter half of the trial that we haven't met. That is entirely a possibility. But if we don't meet anyone else, it has to be one of them. Now, onto the actual evidence. Attorney's badge, Smith's autopsy report. This is important. That's really good. Holy shit. I impress myself sometimes. Goddamn. Oh. Delectable, truly. But yeah, Smith's autopsy report, and oh, hold on. I need to pull up the chat just in case anyone's there. Let's take a look. Okay. Received during the preliminary hearing, so again, we could always have an updated autopsy report coming in, we don't know. Time of death was around 2 a.m. April 17th, death was caused by a single blow to the forehead. Right. That is, the time frame seems right. Single blow to the forehead, we believe it to be a bottle, right? And, yeah, the autopsy report doesn't mention anything about any other wounds like strangulation, so that might discard that. But we'll have to see, but you know, it might just be the fact that they only included the cause of death, they didn't include any other injuries, but that would seem kind of weird of a thing to not include, right? Crime photo 1, received during the preliminary hearing, sub-basement at the Borscht Bowl Club, check the button for the will. Yeah, let's take a look. This picture, if I remember correctly, the black and white pictures were taken by the police, right? So if we take a look here, we see Shady is already dead, but his hat is on. Someone made the deliberate choice to put the hat on his head after beating him to death. Maybe they wanted to somehow hide the fact that he died from a blow to the head, but that seems really stupid. Since autopsies are a thing, they just remove the hat and they're like, whoa, why is he bleeding from the forehead? They're not just gonna keep the hat on until they bury him and be like, oh, well, guess there's no clues here, you know? Like, if they... So I don't think they were trying to hide the wound, especially not if my wild theory is correct and Kristoff or Payne are somehow involved, since they are acutely aware of the investigation process, being practicers of the law, you know? Also, Shady used to have a necklace, I believe, that has been stolen. Then I don't see... I guess I could check, compare this to the other picture, compare the chips and stuff. And then, yeah, the bottle that we suspect to be the murder weapon, which had the cork taken out and then emptied out to make it seem like it wasn't. There's also carts spilled on the floor, which is interesting. Maybe fell down during some kind of scuffle? We'll have to compare that later. Deadly bottle. Grape juice bottle used as the murder weapon. Mr. Wright's prints are on it upside down. Right, because, well... Hold on. Let me empty this so that I can use this. Because, right, if he was just bartending, he would be holding the bottle like this. But if you were to use it as a weapon, you would be holding it like this, right? So the fact that the prints were upside down indicate that it was used likely as a weapon of some kind. Then again, there might be some other explanation as to that. right? But that is pretty incriminating evidence. We've destroyed the motive. That is true. But the type of weapon, you know, we still have evidence pointing to Phoenix being killer. So they have opportunity and evidence, they just don't have a motive, which is honestly what the case is resting on, right? The cell phone used by the defendant to notify the police from the restaurant first floor. So Phoenix... So after whatever happened down there, Phoenix went upstairs. Phoenix saw the body, something happened, then Phoenix saw Shady's body, went upstairs, called the police. But if I remember correctly, in the video, we actually saw him speaking to someone else before the police arrived, so... I'll have to see. I'm still not sure how that ties into anything. Then Olga's photo, right, the photos that Olga takes are in color. The defendant and Mr. Smith at the Borscht Bowl Club. Touch the check button for more detail. So this is upstairs before they head into the room, right? Phoenix at the piano. Here are the bottles that would then go on to become the murder weapon. Seem to be eating something. Yeah, I mean, what's really interesting about this photo is the locket that Smith is wearing around his neck. I don't know if you can see it because your window is a bit smaller than mine, but he is definitely wearing it. Whereas, if we go back to the crime photo, we can see that he's no longer wearing it, which means at some point between Shady arriving at the club and Shady dying, or I mean the police arriving, that locket was taken from him. We don't know if it was taken from him in a scuffle while he was alive, or if he was killed and then taken from him. We'll have to see. We also know that Phoenix currently has a locket, but we don't know if it is the same one. Phoenix claims that it has a picture of his daughter. Cool. Chip photo. Photograph submitted as evidence by prosecutor Payne. Defendant victim's chips when the crime took place. Okay. So, this is clearly after the murder took place because he's sitting on the chair, the cards are sprawled on the floor, there's the bottle, and let me just check to see. You have 5 cards, you know, they each have 5 cards, then Phoenix has, I just want to check for any changes to the chips, right? Phoenix has 4 smalls and 1 large, if we then head to the previous photo. 4 smalls, 1 large, then this guy has 1 pile, then a few, then 2, and then like 3 over there. I'm just checking to see if the chips were in any way disturbed. He has a pile, a few, and then 3. Yeah, okay, so it looks like this photo and the crime scene photo are pretty much consistent with each other. That is good. It's not high enough resolution on the other one for me to check the faces of the cards, but we're just gonna have to assume. Crime scene photo 2. Photo of the forehead hat removed during the investigation. Right, so you just remove the hat and you see that he got whomped right there. It also means that the hat doesn't seem to have taken any damage, so the hat must have been off when he was killed, and then it was put back on. Victim's hand. Right. It's got... And if we look behind, 1 of the king, so I believe he used to have 3 aces and 2 kings, which would have implied there were 5 aces. So someone swapped out 1 of the aces for a king without realizing that it was the wrong color. And that's it. God damn. And I don't know what else to say. Does you have anything else to say? Only 1 of these cards is blue back. Okay, no, that's the same thing. Okay, yeah, we've gone through the evidence that we have. I still don't have much of a clue as to what happened. So let's just get right into it and see how this develops, because we need to figure out who else was there. Who did Phoenix call? There are a lot of questions left to be answered, so we'll see. But it was quite unexpected, Mr. Right? To suddenly claim there was another person at the scene of the crime like that. I must ask, is it the truth? Well, now, I think you would know the answer. Well, now, I think you would know the answer to that. Okay, Phoenix! I see, just throwing out a wild accusation like that. I prefer to keep my cards a bit closer to the chest. That's fine. I guess Phoenix is implying the fact that either Kristoff was the one there or he knows about the person who was there. Maybe not specifically him. Being mysterious, are we? Sadly, I have no time for mysteries. I'd only ask that you leave the defending to your defense in the future. Well, he is a defense attorney, and he's, you know, some say he's quite good at it. An ace, in fact. The fuck have you done, Kristoff? Time for murder! Otherwise, I cannot guarantee the outcome. Guarantee the outcome? You know, Kristoff, you're using some language that I could consider pretty sussy. Guarantee the outcome? What outcome, Kristoff? Considering the fact that if it wasn't for Mr. Wright's interference, he probably would have been guilty by now. What outcome are you trying to get, Mr. Glavin? Gonna be a frame job, I tell you. So we'll have to see. I see you haven't mellowed out one bit, Kristoff. Justice. Yes, sir? The judge has summoned me to his chambers, so carry on without me. Oh, that is right. The judge summoned Kristoff for some reason. Wonder what that has to do with anything. Huh. I guess we'll see. You did well, Apollo. Can I ask you something? Sure. That locket you wear, is that really yours, Mr. Wright? Ah, you were wondering about the victim's disappearing locket. Here, you can take a look at it. There's a picture of my daughter in there. That is... I'm just surprised to hear you had a daughter. Yeah, that looked like the other character we have over there. So I'm guessing that's Wright's daughter. I know she's somehow important in this game. That's why you threw her up there. I had no idea. So that's interesting. Most people are. Perhaps you'll meet her one of these days. One more question. The one who cheated that night, was it you? What do you think? Huh? You know what happened 7 years ago. What I did. It's not unreasonable for you to think I might cheat. 7 years ago? Oh, the horses. Hold on. Phoenix Wright, age 33. 7 years ago, he would be 26. That would... I think it was like... That's the first game. How old was he during the first game? He was either mid or late 20s, I believe. So that would mean 7 years ago, that would be somewhere around the time frame of the original trilogy. Though I don't remember his exact age during it. So I think it was either 24 or 27. If it was 24, then that places this right towards the end or right after Trials and Tribulations. If it was 27, this places it right before the first game. So we'll have to see, but I'm going to go off with the assumption that this is something that happened after Trials and Tribulations, so that would make... So let's say Phoenix was maybe like 24 in the first game, maybe? I don't know. Let's go with that. But yeah, something about cheating. Did he use like false evidence to like get a verdict or something? Did he pull an Edgeworth and got disbarred? Maybe. That's a would explain why he's no longer practicing. And I mean, we do know he has a tendency to bullshit. He has, you know, done some bullshit a couple of times, like not presenting, you know, withholding evidence during the Chief Gant trial and using a loophole in the evidence law system to get away with that, as well as lying to get the tiger to confess to his crimes. We'll have to see. I never, honest, but it is odd that he managed to go undefeated for 7 whole years. Yeah, I originally had assumed because of the angle that we look at him, his locket kind of looks like a Magatama. So I had assumed that he was actually just using the Magatama, which, using the Psyche locks, would essentially just allow him to know whenever his opponent is lying. He would essentially be playing poker with a lie detector, which is OP as shit, you know? Like, he's like, so, you got a good hand? And the other guy's like, no, my hand's shit. Fucking 50 Psyche locks show up, and he's like, okay, buddy, yeah, I believe you. Yeah, definitely. So, you know, it essentially lets him know whenever his opponents are lying or telling the truth, which in poker is absolutely invaluable. Because if you know what, you know, if you know whether they're lying or telling the truth, you can then infer what type of hand they have, and from there you can decide how much to go in, you know, when to fold, and then from there you just win, right? I mean, there's still an element of luck involved, so 7 years does seem a bit much, but if you can just detect lies, like, on anyone, regardless of tells or poker faces, that would carry him pretty fucking far. Want to know something? There's only one game where you can be dealt bad cards all night and still win. Huh? You see, poker is all about reading your opponent. There we go. Hey, Charakami, how is it going? It's been a while. That is true, yeah, but... Because, like, as long as you can read your opponent, it doesn't matter whether you lose a hand, 2 hands, 3 hands. Because if you can read your opponent, you'll just make sure that you bet a lot of money on hands that you're gonna win, and you bet very little money on hands that you're gonna lose. So it doesn't matter how many you lose, you'll end up winning anyways. Has it really been a while? Yeah, the Persona 3 movie stream, which was on Christmas, it was the day before Christmas. That was the last stream I have done before this. That is, what, 24 to the 31st is 7 days, and then, yeah, it's been like 18 days. It's, you know, almost 20 days since I last streamed, so it has been quite a bit. Poker is all about reading your opponents. In that way, it's a lot like a court case. Poker is like trial law? Figure out what your opponent is thinking, and you win. Yeah, but it's harder than it sounds. Not for Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. Or if maybe he does have a Magatama somewhere? Maybe he has it like in his pocket. I thought the necklace was a Magatama, and that's what he was using to just read all of his opponents, you know? I think not. Try as they might to conceal it, everyone reveals their true thoughts in the end. Their body language can become a valuable source of information. Kidding. That witness, for instance, Miss Orley. She would touch the back of her neck during certain parts of her testimony. Did you notice? Oh, come on, who noticed that? Oh, so she had a tell? Interesting. Usually, I was this the case for any of the... Was this a mechanic in, like, any of the previous Ace Attorney games? Like, characters having tells whenever they were lying? I don't remember this. Words, habits, twitches. It's all information for the reading. That's the secret to winning, Apollo. Someone taught me, and now I pass the secret on to you. But I'm not worthy. I mean, there's no way I'll pick up on these signals. No, you can do it. Huh? You just don't know it yet. What's he talking about? But you will. Soon. Almost forgot. One more thing about the case. You should know. I haven't told the truth to anyone yet. What? I knew it! I have my reasons, of course. All shall be revealed. And Paulo, I need you to be there, defending me. I need your power. Power? I had no idea my cords of steel were that special! Oh, baby. Also, remind me that I'm still working on the Persona 4 Best Of. I finished fully editing up to part 19. We gotta finish it this week, probably. First case of Paulo Justice is amazing. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. Also, and Persona 4 will continue. I'm just saying, it's gonna be a while, especially since this, I was originally gonna be streaming, last Sunday, but then, one of my nephews who's been staying with me for, the holidays got COVID, so I had to go get tested and couldn't end up streaming. And then next Sunday, I'm actually on a plane going back to college, so it's gonna be like a couple of weeks before Persona 4 resumes, but it will. We will finish that fucking game. That's the last thing I do. It's gonna be going on for 2 years. Jesus Christ. It's time. The real trial begins now. Your best. Alright, we gotta start looking for tells, boys! I was not expecting this, but sure! Love this. Ooh, like the save tune. April 20. 12:14 p.m. District Court, courtroom number... Jesus Christ. Why is it so hot in this fucking room? I mean, I get that it's Miami, but goddamn, hold on. I need to get a glass of water, because I am fucking sweating. Jesus Christ. Hold on. Won't be a minute. Won't be a minute. I was muted. Oh, good thing I caught that, or I would have been muted for the entire fucking stream. Jesus Christ. Yeah, there are definitely some shady things happening around Kristoff. God, the music in this game is so good. There are definitely some shady things happening around Kristoff, from him getting mysteriously called to the judge's quarters, to Phoenix sort of kind of implying that he was at the scene of the crime, or knew more than he was letting on, at least? I'll see.
Court will now reconvene. Has our witness, Miss Olga Orley, recovered?
Yes, Your Honor. Yeah, wow, she's freaking cautious.
Perhaps we can hear her version of events again.
That's the thing. You see, she's quite fatigued.
You're looking a bit fatigued yourself, Mr. Payne.
Sadly, fatigue is insufficient grounds for refusing to testify or prosecute. The defense would like to request that Miss Orley take the stand.
Very well, the witness will take the stand.
Perhaps you could repeat your name and profession. Or perhaps you would rather admit that you're a poor liar and a poorer loser.
Not! I don't know how to respond to this. Is she still Russian? Should I keep the Russian accent? I don't know. I guess I will. Name's Olga Orley. It's the truth. I am a pro dealer. People call me Olga Quick Fingers Orley.
Oh, really?
Judge, stop! I see your hand under that fucking podium.
You saw nothing. Objection overruled.
Want to know something else? Oh. I'm not really Russian, and my last name sounds like O'Reilly. Olga O'Reilly. There, that's the truth. I hope you're satisfied. Okay, she's not Russian anymore. Witness, you will tell the court what you were really up to that night. Fine. I'll talk. We had a plan, see?
Let me remind you that you are currently under oath. Any further fabrications will have serious consequences.
Fine. Like I said, I'm a pro. That guy, Smith, hired me to do what I do best. I was planned with the Borscht Bowl Club several days prior to the night of the game, as a waitress. So you were in cahoots with the victim? That is what we had established, yes. Not that he needed my help. Smith is a well-known poker player in some circles, but winning wasn't the main purpose of this game. It was about destroying a legend, the unbeatable Phoenix Wright. The plan was simple, elegant really. You see, we set up a trap of sorts. I was to plant a card in Wright's pocket beforehand, and then deal 5 aces during one of their games. Right? When their hands were revealed, Smith would call him out and search Wright. He would pull out the planted card, and the trap would snap shut. I see. Swap the cards. Exposed as a cheater and losing on top of it would make a great double play. Just like that, the legend would be dashed to pieces.
Indeed. Getting caught red-handed at cheating would cast doubt on all his prior wins.
A 7-year legend destroyed by one little card. That was the plan.
Oh, really? Orly. How droll.
I mean, I suppose if she had just been planted there days earlier, I suppose it's possible that she wouldn't have, known about the multicolored cards? Maybe. But no, if she was dealing throughout the entire poker game, she would have known, because she would have been swapping decks every round, like they do in, at the Borscht Bowl Club. So if she was constantly swapping between the two decks, she would know the fact that the two decks had different colors. So Again, it still can't be her that swapped that card at the end.
But it appears you made quite the mistake.
A mistake?
I agree, the trap was elegant. Yet what happened to that planted card?
Hey, that's right. He's lucky, I'll give him that. You'd have to be to slip free from a trap laid by Olga Quick Fingers Orly.
Oh, really?
Cute.
The witness would be much cuter if she dispensed with the evil mastermind shtick.
Cute? Who wants to be cute? I'm not cute. I'm bad, you hear me? Bad!
I'm not cute. I'm deadly.
Wait, who said that? That's a quote from something, but I don't remember what. Hold on, I need to look this up. Oh, it's from Sator! Right, I remember. The fucking Sith Inquisitor gets called cute at one point. He's like, I'm not cute, I'm deadly. Like, he's like so taken aback by it, like, me, cute? No, cute. No, I'm deadly. Deadly. Not cute. It's so funny. Sator really has some great dialogue. It's really good, especially Sith Warrior. My God, some of the dialogue in Sith Warrior is fucking top tier. My God.
When you're through being bad, perhaps you can testify to the court. Tell us about this trap and how it was sprung.
Right, let's keep an eye out for her tell. The best laid traps. That night I planted a card like I was supposed to, and Wright lost the last hand just like he was supposed to. Then Smith searched him, but the planted card was gone. The trap failed. You got outplayed! My man, Phoenix! He realized that they were trying to cheat him, and then he fucked them over! What a Chad! That's Sigma behavior right there. The next moment, Wright picked up a bottle and swung it. It wasn't me who hit Smith. It was that no-good cheating defendant. You're the one who cheated! So, Phoenix gets accused of cheating. Shady searches him, but finds nothing. And then Phoenix hits him? That doesn't make sense, right? I mean, if he finds you cheating, fair enough, you kill him. You know, you can't let that information get out. But if you literally just found out that you didn't cheat, then, like... Well, there's no point in murder at that point. You've just proven your innocence.
A surprisingly frank testimony that still leaves us mostly in the dark.
The trap is perfect, I tell you. Perfect! That rotten cheater had messed it up. Look who's talking!
Well, the testimony, for what it's worth, it's all yours, Mr. Justice.
With witnesses like her, who needs criminals? And with defendants like Mr. Wright, who needs prosecutors? That is true. The prosecutors in these games really just have it easy, don't they? Like, my God, they do. Best laid traps. That night, I planted the card like I was supposed to. Hey? Wright lost the hand he was supposed to. Smith searched him, so everything's going to plan. But the planted card was gone, the trap failed. The next moment, right? Yeah, there's the tell. She's lying. But I mean, we know that that's a lie. Different personality, but the same testimony. I believe you have her where you want her, Justice. The circumstances have changed, yet
Her testimony was not. That means...
There's gotta be a contradiction in there.
What?
Alright, so let's press on this. This planted card. Which card was it exactly? The trump card. The 5 of Hearts.
5 of Hearts. Let's take a look.
Was that maybe? And no, the card that got swapped in was the King of Diamonds. Do we see a 5 of Hearts literally anywhere on this? I can't really tell from these ones, so I think no. There's nothing there. Well, this was before the crime took place, so that's useless. I don't see any 5 of Hearts, although hearts are red, so it could be that one, but there's no way to know. There's no 5 of Hearts anywhere on this table. Interesting. I wonder how that will tie in.
Let me guess. Mr. Wright was to have switched the 5 with the ace to make a full house. At least that's what you were going to accuse him of doing, thereby ruining his legend.
I slid it into Wright's pocket. When was this? Why, before the match, of course, while he was eating. Ah. At the Borscht Bowl Club, we serve borscht and suckers. You keep saying this, but you're the one who got suckered. You know, they're like, Mr. Wright, he cheated by preventing me from cheating. Mr. Wright, that sucker who completely predicted my plan and stopped it. What a sucker, right? Like, you're fucking stupid.
Remind me to never go there.
Of course, the card was to make its grand debut during the game. Like a good borscht, a good plot must be cooked up early and allowed to thicken. Lost the hand like he was supposed to. Right. So everything went according to plan. Exactly. The 5th ace came up, so it's obvious the switch went off without a hitch. Once the extra card was found in his pocket, Wright would be forever known as a cheat and a fraud.
There are worse things to be known as, I suppose.
Tell us what happened with the search.
Like murderer! Planet's card was gone.
The trap failed. Card disappeared? Yeah, my trump card, the 5 of Hearts. Gone, without a trace. Poof! Zippo! Should have been the 3 of Hearts, then it could have been gone without a trace. We searched every nook and cranny, even inside his cute little hat. The card was nowhere to be found. Is this correct? Never in my long, storied career, never as quick fingers never as quick fingers really, been so readily duped.
Oh, really? So what did happen to the 5 of Hearts?
Don't look at me. Why don't you ask that cheating, lying, two-faced defendant? So the 5 of Hearts is still missing in action.
That is interesting. That's the lie, but what about this?
Let me ask, how's your eyesight? Just who do you think you're talking to? They don't call me quick fingers for nothing. I'm a pro, which means my dealing's pro and my eyesight is pro. Honestly, she'd have to be blind as a bat to miss something in that small room. Yeah, but Mr. Wright didn't have a motive to hit the victim. Different personality.
Okay, same thing. There's gotta be a skip button somewhere, I just don't know. Oh wait, no, there isn't. There's a function that lets you skip text if you need to go back to the place you're at. But there's no, like, skip button, which is really annoying. Alright, well, let's press her on,
Wait, isn't that a little odd? What's odd? You searched Mr. Wright early and found nothing. Which means he didn't cheat. Which means he had no reason to strike the victim. Well... What was that just now? I sensed something.
Something wrong, Mr. Justice.
The color's inverted, which made me think, wait, fucking Psyche locks? What's happening here? Like, unless I fucking slip the fucking Magatama into my coat pocket while we were outside, which would be really fucking cool. That would be something, right? He just like, you know, pats me, you know, in the back, and then as he's going, just fucking sticks the Magatama in my pocket so now that I can see she's lying. That would be really cool. I don't know if that's what happened, though. No, nothing. Here, Hunter. What to do? Should I press her a little harder? Yes. Miss Orly, you're hiding something. What are you talking about? You. Me? Quick fingers, Orly. Hide something? That defense will refrain from the baseless accusations. I have one question for the witness, then. You say you saw the moment the defendant hit the victim. Is this true? Of course it's true. She's lying. She's lying. She held the back of her neck. I did see it, honest. I saw it when Wright hit him. With my own eyes, I saw it. What's this weird vibe I'm getting? That witness, for instance, is Orly. Oh, she would touch the back of her neck during certain parts of her testimony. Did you notice? Touching her neck, was it? Such a good music. Oh! What's going on? He's unlocking his fucking shotty gun! Amaterasu! She fucking explodes into black flames! Like fucking... Or... My god, or... I guess from the visual effect, this would probably be like Tsukiyomi. He's getting her in his genjutsu. Tsukiyomi! This sensation, it's coming into focus. There, that twitch, it's so clear. It's like I could perceive her habit like I couldn't before. Perceive! Miss Orly, perhaps you are unaware of this yourself. Unaware of what? Whenever you get to a certain part of your testimony, you touch the back of your neck with your left hand. What? My neck? So what? What indeed, Justice? I hadn't noticed anything of the sort. Who knew that the Justice's true name was Apollo Justice Uchiha? My god. When she says that part of her testimony, she's subconsciously recalling something. Her body reacts to the memory, and she touches her neck. I'm sure of it. A memory? What? Would someone care to explain what he's babbling about?
Well, this is highly unusual, but let's ask the defense. You claim the witness is remembering something. Maybe you have evidence of this memory to show us?
Her habit is scratching her neck whenever she talks about the moment of the crime. So what would remind her most of the moment of the crime? Miss Orly, whenever you recall the crime that night, you scratch your neck. I've noticed it happens when you think about the moment of the crime. There must be some reason behind this habit of yours. I believe the weapon that left an inerasable impression on your neck is... the weapon. Impression on her neck. Erasable expression on your neck. Impression on your neck. Attorney's badge. Autopsy report. Crime scene photo 1. Is he using weapon metaphorically here? Have I heard of MMOGA? No, I haven't. What is that? It's cell phone. Well, she says it whenever she talks about the bottle, right? So it has to be that. Whenever she talks about the moment of the crime, she touches her neck. And what reminds us more of the moment than this bottle? The murder weapon. But something doesn't fit. If you were only the witness to the crime, why would that make you touch your neck like you're in pain?
Oh, what's he talking about now?
It's Mr. Smith. The victim was hit, not you. Unless you did the hitting. You can buy game keys from them if you didn't hear about them. Oh, wait. Is it Emma? I thought it was just GA. Hold on. We might be thinking about a certain thing. MMOGA. No, we're thinking of it. Well, yeah, okay. We're both thinking of like places that sell shit at discount, but we're thinking of different ones. So the thing with these types of websites is that a lot of times they get their game keys in really shady ways. I know G2A is the other one, right? I think that's what it's called. G2A? Yeah, G2A is probably the most popular of them. They get their game keys in really shady ways, so I would not recommend using G2A. I don't know about MMOGA, but it's probably the same. Fanatical gets their keys legit, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure Fanatical gets their keys legit, so if you want discount keys, I would recommend using Fanatical, since they, like, as far as I know, they're, like, the website that gets them for, like, you know, actually, like, the right way, instead of scamming game developers, but whatever. Let's continue.
This is a cross-examination, not a cross-wild conjecture. No, the witnesses' habits, they're completely irrelevant.
Justice, I'll admit, I'm a bit confused myself. This is certainly a unique cross-examination. I'll explain later, just trust me. Now's our only chance to break her.
Slam that desk!
Miss Orley, please testify in detail about the moment of the crime. The very moment.
And yet, I am not knowing nothing.
We know you're not Russian.
The witness will testify. Please. Now!
Fine. The individual sellers provide support. There's no buyer's protection. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure Fanatical doesn't have individual sellers. They get their keys in bulk from developers, and then they sell them directly. there's no, like, you know, individual sellers. So Fanatical, like, they're all, like, legit keys. Alright. Picked up the bottle and swung it. He's the one who did it. I didn't let him out of my sight until the cops got there. Okay.
Hold it!
You seem uneasy. With an F. With an F. You try sitting up here. Eyes are darting all over the place. I must be getting warm. Now, because they do use, like, they get their keys legit as far as I know, they have a smaller selection of, like, discounts than places like G2A, but I still think it's, you know, better to use that. They also have pretty decent, like, mystery bundles. I've gotten some good games from those. Eyes are darting all over the place. You're getting warm. Tell me, after the crime, what was the defendant like? Well, he must have been stunned by the weight of his crimes. He sat in a daze at that table until the cops came. Intriguing. I believe you've gotten all the testimony you're going to get out of this witness. So what do you think about her testimony? I'll tell you what I think. Her testimony is flawed! Because we have evidence that he went upstairs to call the cops. It's basically bogus. It contradicts the evidence. What's that?
Well, show us this evidence, Mr. Justice. This evidence that you claim contradicts the testimony.
She didn't let him out of her sight until the cops got there? I know there's some evidence that contradicts that. The fact that he you know, called the police from the first floor.
Take that!
Miss O'Reilly, we have a record here that clearly contradicts what you said. I heard MMOGA, 2GA and stuff, get it from other countries cheap and rip the gameplay key of the physical boxes. Yeah, they do stuff like that. They also sometimes will be like they'll ask developers for press keys, right? And then they'll just sell the press keys instead, which is, you know, not what you're supposed to do with a press key. But yeah, Fanatical's pretty nice. It states that the police were alerted by a report from the defendant. Huh? And we know that the defendant left the room, climbed the stairs, and made that phone call from the first floor of the Borscht Bowl Club. So explain how you kept your eyes on the defendant when he left the room entirely. And who picked up the bottle and swung it that night? Was it the defendant? I'm sorry, what? Oh, we're getting some more. We're back to this. Showdown time. I think that's Phoenix.
You dirty cheat! Check his pockets, now!
It's gone. The card's gone. You lose. Now that explains a lot.
What is this song?
Oh, this is good. So that actually explains that intro cutscene a lot better now, because showdown time, they play their cards, Shady accuses Wright of cheating, then decides then Olga is like, oh yeah, check his pockets. Shady checks his pockets and is like, card's not here. And then Olga is like, where the fuck did it go? And then someone is like, well, he was like, game over, or like, I win, or he said a cool one-liner. I don't remember if it was Phoenix, but we don't know if that was Phoenix or someone else. Just then, Smith grabbed the bottle from next to Wright, and he hit me. Oh!
Ew, some master of cheating you are!
When I came to.
The victim was already dead. Is that it?
That's why I can reveal who I really was. I see. So Shady attacked Olga, believing that she cheated him, knocked her out, but she didn't die, she just got knocked out. Then while she was knocked out, Shady was killed. Which is why Olga doesn't actually know the true identity of the killer, because she was knocked out. That explains how that happened. Cool. I think I actually thought I had a similar theory to this, in that, that Shady had attacked Olga. I'm pretty sure I mentioned a similar theory at one point during the last episode, but I'm not sure. So we'll have to see. So right, so Olga was knocked out during the time of the crime. We have absolutely no idea what happened. Phoenix was, well, so Shady attacks Olga. We don't know what happened after that. Phoenix lightly tried to restrain Shady after what happened, but I'm not sure. Hey, door. If it came out that I was in league with Smith, I'd be a suspect for sure.
Well, but where does this leave us?
Madness! This is madness! I'm dreaming. It must have been me who was hit with the bottle, and I'm imagining all of this!
It appears our prosecution is at his wit's end, and frankly, I can't blame him.
And he lasted a lot longer than Gatto did. Gatto just knew how to hide it.
Mr. Gavin, what do you think about this turn of events?
Mr. Gavin? Sir, I believe that, as the defense in this case, we are compelled to call Miss Aurelia big, fat liar. What? We were in that room the night of the murder, the defendant, the victim, and her. And she has the motive. Motive? Her plot foiled, the witness got into an argument with her client, Mr. Smith. And that denouncement of that argument. And the denouncement of that argument was murder. What? I didn't. I'm no killer. It's a trap. Someone's trying to frame me. You framed yourself at this point with all your fucking lies. What tangled webs we weave when we practice to deceive. So tangled we catch ourselves in the process.
Mr. Wright!
Such a hasty conclusion. It's not like you, Christoph Gavin. What are you saying? Why not consider the other possibility? There was another person in the room at the time of the murder. Doesn't want to consider it because it was him. He's really acting super sus recently. Ever since Phoenix has opened his big fat mouth and the trial has deviated from how he expected it to go, it also would explain if Phoenix suspects Gavin of being the true killer. It explains why he would, first of all, hire him, because by hiring him to defend him, he essentially forces him into the courtroom where he can then drag him into the daylight, right? But at the same time, in order to be able to steer the court how he wants it, he can't have Gavin leading the defense, which is why he specifically requested for the young rookie Apollo to lead the defense. Gavin, with Apollo being a rookie and this being a murder trial, Gavin would still have to be in the courtroom supervising and giving Apollo help, but Apollo would be the one taking the charge during the trial. So it really makes, if Phoenix was specifically trying to set up Gavin here, it would explain why he specifically requested Apollo. Right, like Mr. Wright was saying before recess. A single card was swapped into the victim's hand after the murder. And the one who swapped the card didn't know two colors of cards were being used. A fourth person. This theory again, your fourth person doesn't exist. Indeed. That's why I decided to bring this case to court. Here, where there's no escape and no chance for deception. No escape because the fourth person is in this room. Right? The perfect place to cast the real criminal.
Real criminal?
Yeah, he's been planning. This is all a setup. He set up Gavin from the beginning because Phoenix knew that Gavin was the murderer. I'm pretty much convinced that Gavin is the murderer, even though we lack any kind of evidence right now or any kind of motive. It actually lines. Well, we don't have any evidence that places him at the scene, gives him a motive, or But if he was the killer, all the facts line up perfectly well. And it explains his really sus behavior recently, and why Phoenix specifically requested Apollo after hiring Gavin as the defense, because why would you have her hire Gavin to then request Apollo, right? Like, if he doesn't think Gavin can defend him properly, he would just hire a different attorney, right? And if he thinks Gavin can defend him properly, then why would he request Apollo? It's because he knows that Gavin won't defend him properly because Gavin is the killer, right? So that's first, but the reason why he still needs to hire Gavin is because he needs to drag Gavin to court where he can't escape. It all lines up really fucking well if Gavin is the killer. And we're in luck. A clue to the real criminal's identity was kindly provided to us. Right at the beginning of the trial, no less. That's news to me. Beginning of the trial, so the bottle would be crime photo. Alright, let's see. What? Apollo, perhaps you know what I'm talking about. Sorry. Remember what I said. Fourth person who swapped the cards made one critical error. He or she wasn't considering the color of the backs on the cards. Right. How could such an obvious mistake occur? The cards used for the last game were red. Yet, there is one person here, in our court, who thought those cards were blue. Yeah, I had that impression too, but why? Well, Apollo, think you can figure out who it was? Because if you look at this photo, right, all the cards have their backs down, meaning you don't see the backs of the cards on the table. As far as the backs of the cards on the floor, I'm not sure on that one. Let me see. No, there are cards that are face up on the floor. Well, at least the cards on the table, right? The cards on the table, both of the hands are completely face up, right? However, the only deck on the table has the blue back, which means the killer was like, oh, they're playing with blue back cards. So he just took a card from the deck, swapped it in, Bing, bada, boom. Didn't even look at it because he wouldn't even have imagined that there were two colored cards. So that's why he thought it was blue. But who would it be? It would have to be someone who had never been there before because, yeah. The first time they walk in, they see this scene and they immediately see this and they think blue cards, right? They couldn't have come in while the game was being played because when the game is being played, it's likely that both of the decks were laying side by side since they constantly use, you know, they alternate between the decks. So they were likely both laying there. However, when the scuffle ensued, the red deck was knocked to the ground, right? So then only the blue deck was left, leading the person to assume that the blue deck was the one that was being used. So that makes sense. And it implies that it is someone who arrived at the scene of the crime after that red deck was knocked off the table. It's not me, I swear! Don't worry, Winston, we've already bagged the prosecutor. The one person we haven't bagged is, I mean, I guess Gato was technically a defense attorney, more than a prosecutor, so, you know. But, you know, we bagged the prosecutor, who was also a defense attorney. But we haven't bagged our own aide.
Who is this fourth person?
I don't always get put on the spot like this. Let's hear what the defense has to say. Who is it? Who thought the cards used in the final game were blue? Gotta be Kristoff.
Take that!
As I expected. Your eyes and ears are sharp as your hair. From one legend to another! That's the torch of the crazy hair being passed down. The fucking All Might hairstyle. I was right? Wrist of Gavin, you were the fourth person that night. Of course Mr. Gavin knows the color of the cards. How would he? As you can see, the photo of the crime scene is black and white. You can't tell which of the cards are blue and the ones on the floor or the table. Look, you can see the color in the photo. Yes, but he said the cards were blue. It was well before this evidence came to light. It's true that the defendant engaged in a game of poker with the victim. It was only that a game. In the purest sense, a competition, Your Honor. Competition? Yes, a test of wits, a silent clash of passions. Only the cards, their backs wreathed in blue flame, know the final outcome. Well, Kristoff? Mr. Gavin? To be honest, I didn't actually catch that. Cause like, yeah, that was before we figured out what the color of the cards were. I just had no reason to suspect him at that time, so I didn't catch that. But you know, in retrospect, he is the only person that works out, especially because that is the definitive evidence we need. That's a slip. This is a really good fucking case, and I missed that. But I was able to figure it out through alternate means, essentially.
Mr. Gavin, something the matter?
But no, nothing. Excuse me, it's just so sudden. Right, you aren't seriously accusing me, are you? Oh, Kristoff. You know, even I'd never take a joke this far. Man, this has gone beyond ridiculous, beyond dumb. This is insanity. The defendant accusing his own defense attorney of murder? I assure you, I'm quite sane. But what possible connection could Mr. Gavin have to the victim? I wasn't aware that I had a connection to Mr. Smith either. Yes, but Mr. Gavin and the victim never even met. How? What if they have? Ah! There is a possibility, after all. They may have met that night, before the game started.
What are you suggesting?
Is this the truth Mr. White was staying silent about? Well, only one thing to do. Mr. Wright, the defense would like to request that you... Objection!
The defense would like to request no such thing. Mr. Gavin? Shut the fuck up! I'm leading this defense, not you, bitch! Testimonies must relate to the case. How could anything happening before the game of poker be related? It's called the motive.
I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Gavin.
See, even the judge is not following your bullshit. As I explained before, the defense believes that Miss O'Reilly.
Am I to assume you speak for Mr. Justice in this? He is the defense, not you.
The judge actually fucking standing up to this bullshit for once? No way! Don't tell me. After Gatto was accused of murder and his lies were exposed, the judge had like a little self-reflection moment. He was like,
oh shit! That man completely just lied this whole time, and I believed every word of it just because of how sexy his voice is. I can't believe it. He must have put an aphrodisiac in that fucking coffee of his. Infected the whole courtroom. It's the only possibility. No, has he been lying this whole time?
and then he went back, looked at the court records,
And it was like, holy fucking shit! This man is the worst prosecutor in history. How did I let him get away with this shit? Oh, fuck. I need to start taking my meds again because I let this shit slip through. My God, never letting this shit again. In fact, I'm gonna start distrusting every lawyer with a sexy voice.
And so then, so now he's realized Kristoff's bullshit. Good job, Judge. I am so proud of you right now.
Mr. Justice, the matter of Wright's testimony is up to you.
Okay.
Does the court, in your opinion, need to hear Wright's testimony?
Hear the testimony. This was Mr. Wright's strategy. He was planning this all along. I intend to see it through. The defense would like to request that Mr. Wright testify to the court. Hey, too, Juste. Would you betray me, your teacher? Betray? Mr. Gavin! If you have nothing to hide, then what's a little testimony gonna do? Right? I mean, after all, my job is to find out the truth. As long as you're on the right side of that truth, there's, no reason why you should be concerned. I'm sorry, Mr. Gavin. This isn't about loyalty. This is about the truth. Whether it brings hope or despair, the truth is the truth, and that is what we must find. That's something that Danganronpa has taught me. It doesn't matter whether the truth brings despair or hope. All that matters is the truth.
Very well. The defendant, Mr. Wright, will take the stand. Please.
Thank God, someone who's... Because, Phoenix was the protagonist of the main trilogy, I just made his voice my own, which means his testimony is easy to read. Appetite for murder. That evening, Kristoff and I had dinner, and we sat at the table in this photograph. Shady Smith walked in 5 minutes after Kristoff left. When the trap failed, Smith hit the waitress. The girl was knocked out cold, and Smith was uncontrollable. I left to call the police. When I returned, he was dead. Blood streaming from a cut on his forehead. That's when I made another phone call. Defense attorney Gavin. The other phone call.
Mr. Gavin, you were at the Borscht Bow Club on the night of the murder?
I dine with him rather frequently. And he talked to the defendant on the phone directly after the murder? Quite against my will, I had become involved in a murder. I thought I might be in need of a lawyer, so I called him. You were planning this all along, weren't you, right? Yeah, to drag you to court without you suspecting a thing. Kristoff was probably like, Wright wants me to defend him. Oh, I can very easily frame him then. Well, this is gonna be easy. Oh, fuck shit, he was smarter than I thought. Oh, God, no, I swear I'm not the killer. Fuck, get me out of here. Apollo, not you too. Oh, fuck, all right. I'm getting the life sentence. I already know how this is gonna go down. Fuck! These are the thoughts that are going through his head right now.
Oh yeah, fanatical is great. You're welcome. Just because you wanted to drag me into your little murder trial, the only thing I want is the truth. As I did back then, and now. I thought my office was doing you a favor when we took on your defense. It appears that I was wrong. Oh no, you were doing him a favor. You very much were. Just not the favor that you were thinking, although you will be getting him off innocent, and that is what a defense attorney is supposed to do. There's actually a great story of, back during, like, the Civil War era in the US, there was a guy got shot. What is your opinion on the new Phoenix, right? By the way, you mean the one that just came out? Chronicles, I think it's called? The one in, like, Victorian England? I haven't played it yet, so I don't have an opinion. But yeah, there was this one case where a guy gets shot, right? And this guy gets accused of shooting him. Now, the defense's theory, right, is that while the guy was cleaning his pistol, oh, disbarred right? Oh, he's great. Punished right, a fallen legend. A defense attorney denied his bar. A man denied his objection. A man overruled his objection. But yeah, so there was this guy. He got shot, and and everyone thought that this guy had shot him because there were like the only two people in the room at the time. Now, the theory that the defense had, right, was that the guy, while cleaning out his gun, had accidentally shot himself and died. But no one believed him. They were like, there's no way he could have accidentally shot himself while cleaning his gun. That's ridiculous. So, the next day, the defense decided, all right, I'm going to get a replica of the gun, right? Unloaded, of course, and I'm going to show the court exactly how it's possible to shoot yourself while, you know, doing what the victim was doing. So, the next day, he goes to court, picks up the gun, and, you know, starts demonstrating. And when he pulls the trigger, the gun actually goes off because he had laid the real murder weapon, which was still loaded for some reason, and the fake gun that he had brought in for demonstration right next to each other. And he ended up grabbing the loaded murder weapon by accident, and he accidentally shot himself while demonstrating how the victim would have shot himself. And so the jury was like, well, I guess he proved his case. The guy's innocent, and the guy was innocent. Man fucking shot himself and got his client declared innocent. Quite possibly the single greatest defense attorney in history, which just fucking shoots himself to get his client off. That is 5-star service, you know? So, like I said, it's the defense's duty to get their client off, even if it means going to jail for murder themselves, like Gavin's about.
Very well, the defense may cross-examine the witness.
Justice? Sir! He's lying, and you're going to expose him. Understood, sir. Mr. Gavin and Mr. Wright, this can't end well. Why can't I have a normal trial? We'll see. That's what we're... Honestly, the little graphic of, like, you know, the crossing sight lines of, like, Apollo and Payne, it should have swapped Payne over to Gavin. That would have been really cool. But, you know, that probably requires too much, That's probably above this game's budget. Like, the engine probably can't handle that. It'll break down. Appetite Before Murder. That evening, Christoph and I we sat at the table in the photo room. Okay? Shady Smith walked in 5 minutes after Christoph left. Which means Christoph left, they walked into each other, had some kind of interaction that gave Christoph a motive, then Shady walked in. Cool. When the trap failed, Smith hit the waitress. The girl was knocked out cold. Smith was uncontrollable. So he left Smith in the bottom room while he went upstairs to call the police. While he was upstairs, someone sneaked into the room, killed Smith, and then left. I guess the real question here is, why the fuck did where's the crime scene footage? Why did Gavin put the hat on Smith? I mean, like, did he think it would hide the fucking did he think it would hide the fucking the cause of death, despite him being like a pretty good defense? What? I think the Ace Attorney games run on empty framework mobile. I have no idea. All I know is fucking Unreal Engine. That's the only one I know how to use. I've tried Unity, did not go well. My god. I never using Unity again. Fucking hate that shit. Doesn't help that C# is probably one of the worst coding languages I've ever done. Second only to Python. My god, is Python bad. Holy fuck. Girl was knocked out cold and Smith was uncontrollable. I had to call the police. When I returned, he was dead. Blood streaming from cutting. Oh! When Wright returned, the hat wasn't on his head yet. So did Wright put the hat on the victim's head? Why? That's when I made another phone call with the defense attorney, Gavin. Is this the truth that Mr. Wright was talking about? Justice, you know what you have to do. He's lying. Expose him now. Yes, sir. I have to think. What's Mr. Wright trying to tell me in this testimony? The truth has to be there somewhere. Alright, well, let's press everything. Yeah, what's up? Had dinner with Mr. Gavin? Yeah, he dines with me at the Borscht Bowl Club quite frequently. We were enjoying our usual dinner at our usual spot. That's usual. Usual. No, I don't play Fortnite. Why? I always eat at the table closest to the piano.
I see. Where Mr. Smith was sitting.
So, the plates and such on the table were from your dinner. Well, let's take a look at these plates. Yeah, I guess so. Indeed. Let's drop it, my asshole. Indeed, the remnants of my meal with Christoph. We dined for 2 hours, then Christoph left. After that. Oh, Xmas. I'll check that out later. Nothing important. Judy Smith from within 5 minutes after Christoph left. 5 minutes? So the two of them could have passed in the restaurant during that time. That would have been a fateful encounter, to be sure. Oh, Mr. Wright. What was it you said? Christoph Gavin and Shady Smith may have met? I believe I did say that. Here I was all nervous about this meeting. And now we hear they just passed in the hall?
That does seem a little weak as a pretense for murder.
Yeah, I'm sorry about talking shit. I notice most of the time I'm just talking shit. No, it's entertaining as fuck. It keeps the chat alive, which, really, a little secret about YouTube live streams. YouTube, when a live stream is like a VOD, it gets recommended the same way any video does, right? Views, watch time, likes, comments, right? When it's live though, I've found, looking at analytics, the single most important thing for a YouTube live stream to get recommended to people is chat rate. Like, if I take a look at the graph of viewership, like new views and chat rate side by side, like the higher the chat rate is, the more views I'm getting, right? Like, it's almost like the fucking, the chat rate is like the fucking derivative of the, you know, the chat rate graph is the derivative of the fucking, viewership graph. So, the more you chat, the better. Also, that's what's, also, you know, chatting with people, that's what's fun about streaming, you know? If not, I'm just, you know, just shouting into a fucking camera. But, I mean, I'm kind of doing it, but at least I'm not alone. Well, it would be, and if that was all that happened. Come on, Mr. Wright. What are you hiding this time? Trap failed, Smith hit the waitress. How'd this failed trap? This is the same trap that Miss Olga Orley mentioned. Plan was simple, elegant really. You see, we set up a trap of sorts. I was to plant a card in Wright's pocket beforehand, and then deal 5 aces during one of their games. When their hands were revealed, Smith would call him out and search Wright. He would then pull out the planted card, and the trap would snap shut. He'll swap the cards! Just like that, the legend would be dashed to pieces. Did you see the young boy memes? I don't think I have, or if I did, I'm thinking about them from a, I'm not, like, associating the name with the meme. Can you, like, are you still in the Discord? If you're still in the Discord, DM it to me, and, I'll check it out and I'll let you know, because I don't know off of name only. Yes, a harmless prank, in essence. It was by a quirk of fate that I happened to discover it. A quirk? I happened to put my hand in my pocket and found a card. A card she planted? Yeah, I snuck a peek at it and found it was the 5 of hearts. I had a feeling something might happen, so I disposed of the card before the game.
Disposed? Where?
There was an empty bottle of grape juice I had been drinking right beside me. I threw the card inside the bottle. An empty bottle of grape juice. The murder weapon? You deleted Discord. Big brain, truly. Why would you delete Discord? What's the point? Yes, I rolled it up and shoved it in. The colored glass makes it hard to see.
Battle of wits between the deceiver and the would-be deceived. That sounds like a terrific drama!
A card inside the murder weapon? That's strange. Did the police miss him in their investigation? Yeah, we'll take a look. Did I miss it in my investigation? Hold up. Unless it's that? Unless it's like stands against the back of this? Wait, can we peel that label off? Grape juice. How long has it been since I drank grape juice? Apparently it's Mr. Wright's favorite drink. I wonder how well it goes with borscht. Can we actually, like, look inside the bottle? No? Guess not. People sensitive as fuck on there? Who? The only person who I can remember getting sensitive sometimes was, Minako. Right? I don't even think she's in the Discord anymore.
Mr. Wright, the poker head of courtroom number 3 approves of this battle of wits. Please revise your testimony with this new information.
I discovered the trap during the game and then disposed of the card in a bottle. Okay, we'll press on that a bit. Girl was knocked out cold and Smith was uncontrollable. I left to call the police. That might also explain the fingerprints on the bottle. Maybe. Like if I had a card. Well, let's say this, what could be a card? Here, I have a... Alright, I'll use a $10 bill. So let's say this is roughly the size of a card. It's a bit bigger, right? So if I roll up this $10 bill, because it's a bit longer than a card, but if I roll it up lengthwise, then it should be roughly the same, right? So if I roll it up, I would just stick it into the bottle like this, right? I don't know why you would fucking hold the bottle upside. There's still Coke in there. God damn it. I don't know why you would hold the bottle upside down and then stick it in. Like, it doesn't really make much sense. Not sure. So yeah, I don't know how that ties into the fingerprint specifically. I guess we'll have to see. Girl was knocked out cold and Smith was uncontrollable. I left to call the police.
Hold it!
You made the call to the police from the first floor of the restaurant, correct? Exactly. Cell phones don't get a signal down to the hideout. Was anyone else on the first floor at the time? Not a soul. It was the middle of the night after all. Well, not really. It's 2 a.m. Past the middle. So, there, in the blackened restaurant, I called the cops. After making the call, I returned to the hideout. It didn't seem right to leave the injured waitress alone. So he was there, he was out really quickly. When I returned, he was dead, blood streaming from a cut on his forehead.
Hold it!
Well, I mean, the key to Discord, try to call me, is that you can pick and choose which Discord servers you're in. So you just have to find servers that you're gonna, you know, have like-minded people, you know? When you return, the victim was already dead. Yeah. I'll admit, I was a little startled when I walked in. Yeah, it's not your first time finding a dead body, though. Certainly not the first time seeing one.
A little.
He was bleeding from his forehead, after all. Guess I'd be startled too if I walked in on a scene like that. Playing Fortnite while chatting, don't know what to type. Oh, well, let me know if you get that victory royale. That's when I made another phone call. The defense attorney. That's when I made another phone call. The defense attorney, Gavin. Now this is interesting. Could you explain why you called Mr. Gavin? I'd obviously gotten involved in a rather sticky affair. I figured Christoph's law office could give me a friend rate for my defense fees. Glad to hear you intend to pay. Oh, I'll pay in full, Christoph. It was I who got you involved, after all. Pay in full, my god! Wright is very good at these thinly veiled threats. Jesus. You may find the price of your defense quite high, my good friend. Quite high. Is this the truth, Miss? Okay, we're back here. Reason I downloaded Discord was Persona SMT Games Community, whatever. And all of those people are sensitive as fuck. Well, the Persona fan base is really fucking bad. Like, really bad. I don't know about the SMT community. They seem a bit bad. But yeah, let's press them on that new aspect of the testimony. Girls. I discovered the trap during the game and disposed of the card in the bottle. Oh, posting memes in general. Well, I mean, there's a reason why there's a memes channel, okay? It's there for a reason. Why in the bottle? I perceived my opponent's intent immediately. I'm used to entrapment, you see. I knew that was coming.
Ho ho! So you struck first! I like that!
I know every trick in the book. They don't work on me. At least when you get lucky and stick your hand in your pocket. Don't. Okay, we just gotta... Except for the fact that this bottle has no card in it, right?
Objection!
Yep. Yeah, I'm not really, like, the only, like, big servers that I'm in, I'm there for, like, notifications and stuff, right? Like, when a streamer goes live or when they post a new video or something, or when a game is getting an update, right? Like, I'm mostly just in I'm mostly only active in small servers with, like, my friends and shit, you know? Like if you got all your friends on Discord, like I legitimately think it's easily the best like platform for just, you know, hanging out with your friends like online. It just has so many features that other platforms lack, and it's very well streamlined. Mr. Wright, if I may. Yes? I examined the bottle and I don't see a card in there. Oh.
What? Mr. Wright! Surely, isn't all you have to say for yourself?
I can't say that I know what happened to the card. I did put it in that bottle. However, perhaps a fifth person came in and took it out. Oh, and a sixth person could have helped. There's probably a seventh one, you know, help them change the light bulb too.
Mr. Gavin, Mr. Wright is your client!
My apologies, Your Honor. I won't have you disparaging our investigation either. I looked inside that bottle. There was nothing. So what's going on? Is Mr. Wright hoodwinking us again? Did the card just disappear?
In any case, please continue the cross-examination.
Well, it's entirely possible that the bottle Wright put the card in is a completely different bottle than the one we have right now. Which would imply we don't actually have the murder weapon. Which would imply there's a different murder weapon.
I'm afraid that decisive contradictions call for decisive evidence.
No? Push him harder, Justice. Break him! It's just you and the witness in the ring. Go for the KO. I don't get the feeling we're not on our client's side anymore. Our job is to find the truth. Don't worry about whose side you're on. That's worthless. What the fuck? Christoph and I had dinner. Yeah, there were several bottles that he could have put it in, you know, so I'm not sure. Trapped during the game, dispose of the card. Bottom.
Hold it!
Why in the bottom? Receive my opponent sometime immediately. Yeah, okay. Fuck. Police. I mean, he was dead. Blood streaming from a cut on his forehead. So hold on. Let me present the bottle once again,
Objection!
just so I can just check this dialogue. Mr. Wright, if I may. Examine the bottle, and I don't see any card in there. No. Can't say I know what happened to the card. I did put it in that bottle. Fifth person. Sixth person. Disparaging our investigation. Looked inside the bottle, there was nothing. Or did the card just disappear? In any case, please continue the cross-examination. I'm afraid decisive contradictions call for decisive evidence. Right. Oh. Push him harder, Justice. Break him. So you and the witness in the ring go for the KO. 5 minutes after, discover the trap, and dispose of the card in the bottle. Huh. Now that we have that information, might be able to press some other stuff? Let's see.
Hold it!
Call the police from the first floor. End of the night after all. Darkened restaurant. Cops. Turn to the hideout. Awkward waitress. I had a dream that the judge was actually Jesus the whole time.
What, you mean he isn't?
Blasphemy.
Hold it!
The victim was already dead. Startled. How? Alright, I'm gonna quickly save just so that we have a new save file, because it's been a bit. It's been 2 hours. No, don't return. Alright. On his forehead, that's fine. Photo 2. Let's stream it from a gut, right? That's the cut and then the blood. That's fine. Oh, what the hell? Olga's photo. I mean, there are more bottles. So, as well as the most logical explanation is that the murder weapon isn't actually the bottle that we have with us. That was planted there with Wright's fingerprints, maybe? Photo. Alright, I'm gonna try something. I don't think it'll work, but I'm at least gonna try it. According to this picture, crime scene photo 1, there is no way you would realize that he was dead. Have I ever gotten scammed? Not that I can think of. If I have, I just don't remember. I don't think so. On this forehead. Hey, I'm gonna try. So I've seen photo 1 on this, I guess, maybe? Let's see it.
Objection!
Yes! Mr. Wright, if I may. Yes? Take a look at this photograph of the crime scene. See the victim here? He's wearing a hat. I wouldn't think you could see blood on his forehead. Good point. The gallery's like, what does he mean, good point? Justice. Next time you point out an inconsistency, put a little more oomph into it. Use those cords of steel.
Mr. Wright, can you explain this to the court?
I wouldn't say I'm lucky, I'm just smart enough not to get scammed. Don't buy shit on eBay? Yeah, no fucking shit. And shady fucking game key sites as well, for the record.
Mr. Wright, can you explain this to the court?
I forgot to mention something. I was the one who put that hat on his head. Okay, so that clears up the other issue, which is why would Mr. Gavin put the hat on his head? That's the neat part. He did it. So the question is, why did Phoenix?
You put the hat on the dead man's head?
We wore it through our entire poker game. After calling the police, when I returned to the scene, his head was in full view, shining bright, just like in this photograph.
And?
I picked his hat off the floor and put it on his head.
Why'd you do a thing like that?
All I can say is, I'm sorry. But that's the only thing I touched at that crime scene. So, you really didn't see it? It being the victim's, his head. I think not. She was out cold. I believe I was the only one who witnessed his head. Here we go again. Mr. Gavin?
Oh,
Pardon. It just seems that our client is determined to lie his way through this case. Hey, he's still our client, isn't he? I believe that's enough of that. Mr. Gavin, this witness's testimony is more like a travesty. It's riddled with lies. Beginning to see how you came to lose your attorney's badge 7 years ago. Well, you certainly have a unique way of treating your clients, Kristoff. I never knew. I believe it was you who threw the first stone. Mr. Wright, if you intend to ever tell the truth about this case, it's now or never. Don't be misled. I haven't told a single lie here. Huh? When I noticed the trap, I put the card in the bottle to dispose of it, and when I put the hat on the victim's head, let's just say I had a reason for doing that as well. The OST is really good. My idea is to stream until the end of this case.
a reason?
The reason is right here. Cell phone? That night, recall that I spoke with defense attorney Gavin after calling the police. Just in case, I recorded our conversation. Sigma. Absolute Sigma. Really. What is this? Now that we're all here, I see no reason why I shouldn't play it back for the court. Did Gavin know more than he should have? Let's see. First off, I seem to be in a bit of trouble. What's this? Game not going well. Something like that? The gentleman who challenged you, he turned out to be good? He turned out to be dead. Someone hit him. Hard. You mean someone cracked that flawless bone china plate? Flawless bone china plate? His skull? How do you know he got hit on the skull? And that he was bald, mind you. Unless you killed him or you met him before. Yeah, it wasn't you, was it? Me. Please. The cops should be here any minute. I'm in your hands. Should it come to that. Bone china plate. That kind of porcelain. Very smooth and shiny. And not plate, but pate. I believe he was referring to a certain gentleman's balding forehead.
The court appreciates the defendant's discretion in not indicating my forehead.
Wait a second. That's not right about that phone call. So, after Mr. Gavin ate dinner with you, he left the Borscht Bowl Club. Oh, certainly. And how did he know? When did he see this bone china plate?
Oh, that's right.
Yes. That was when I began to see my good friend in a different light. Troubled, I returned to the crime scene. When I spotted Mr. Smith's head again, I realized exactly what was wrong. Well, Mr. Gavin, the stage has been set. Perhaps you would like to explain this to the court? Fucking spammers! No, get out of here, you piece of shit! So yeah, for some reason, ever since the Persona 3 stream, we've had a bunch of scammers just popping up in the chat, which is fucking weird. But whatever. The thing about reinstalling Discord, it's good. You should. Perhaps you would like to explain this to the court? Oh yeah, I know there's a bot. I just killed him. Perhaps you would like to explain this to the court. Exactly how did you come by your privileged knowledge of the victim's head? So, this is your reason. The reason why you put on the victim's hat back on. Your point, Mr. Gavin? It's come down to this, hasn't it? Has it, Phoenix Wright? This case is really good, yeah.
Order! I will have order!
Yes, Your Honor.
I believe this court has been left with no other choice. Are you prepared to hear defense attorney Gavin's testimony?
Well, that's the prosecutor,
Very well. We'll break for 10 minutes. After which, Mr. Gavin will take the stand for cross-examination. Are we clear on that?
Crystal, Your Honor.
Very well. This will be the final recess for the day.
So, I pretty much figured out most of everything. What I still don't understand is, why was Gavin called to the judge's quarters? Where did you watch the P3 movies? No, we watched them officially on the on Amazon Prime. Like, watching the movie on a site, that shouldn't and like, even if we watched it on like a shady ass site, that should still not change bots showing up on the stream of all things, right? I mean, like, there's no way, like, if we somehow went to a shady site, the bot would then find our stream and then start spamming it. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Plus, it wasn't a shady site. It was Amazon Video, which has the official license for the Persona 3 movies. April 20, 2:32 p.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. Mr. Gavin and Mr. White are both in the judge's chamber. Who would have thought today would turn out like this? I don't really know much about that, but this is weird, man. My guess is it's just because the channel has had a lot of growth recently due to my, Guilty Gear, the Guilty Gear stream that I did. It was not just a normal viewer. I know for a fact, because if you actually, watch back on the VOD of the, on the Persona 3 stream, like, there are some times where I'm literally just, like, constantly getting up off my seat to, like, ban fucking spammers. Constantly. Like, they just started coming in. They always have, like, a, default profile picture, right? Usually their name is in Russian, but not always. And then they always just put just some random message that makes absolutely no sense. It's just how it is. Plus, yeah. Who'd have thought today would turn out like this? AI? Who? Oh, there she is! Phoenix's daughter, I presume. What? Hello, sir. Please, pick a card. What's all this about? Is this one okay? 5 of Hearts. 5 of Hearts. Trust me. You might be wearing the magician suit, but I'm the only magician here. It's a 5 of Hearts. Excellent. I have a message for you. The last hand is about to be played. You need a trump card to make it. Trump card. Well, like, really did call the 5 of Hearts the trump card, so... Trump card. The card you have chosen is magical. Use it wisely, and the game is yours. That's all. Oh. An ace. Where do I remember that from? Not the 5 of Hearts. Instead, it's the ace that was dealt to Phoenix, the one that was here. Or is this ace? Well, no, there were 5 aces, so one of them must have been duplicate, right? And they were playing with... Wait, no. They were playing with the red cards. So then... And this ace is red, so... Yeah, I think we've found our missing ace. With blood on it, which explains why it was removed. It had nothing to do with the cheating scandal. That was just a pure coincidence. Intriguing. Very intriguing. But why would you remove blood from a crime scene? Unless that blood happened to be the killer's blood? That would be interesting. Watch my grandpa say What? What the fuck? I'm not quite. Ace, where do I remember that card from? It's the Ace Attorney card! It's the Ace of Attorneys! Mr. Smith hand is 3 aces. Mr. Wright's 2. 5 aces in all. It's true. I have seen it, the 5th ace. There was cheating, I swear it to you. Missing 5th ace? Wait, this blotch of red. Is this blood? No, it's tomato sauce. You have your trump card. Now it's up to you to cut through the deck and draw the truth. I will, weird magician girl. I like you. You're nice. My father's fate is in your hands. I know you can do it. And just like that, she is now being single-handedly more useful than Maya ever was. You know what? I like you, girl. I have a feeling you will actually be a useful sidekick in this game, like Emma was, unlike Maya. My job here is done. But you didn't do anything. Leaves. This bloodstained card. Is my trump card for finding the truth? I got pounds in this bitch. I go by young boy. I zip you up from talking What? Tadakami, what? Who's your weed dealer? Because that seems like some good shit. You gotta get me in touch with that, man. My God, that's premium. Trucy, best assistant. I'm gonna guess that's her name. You didn't have to tell me her name. It's technically a spoiler. You know my rule about spoilers, Shotakami. Someone's getting banned for 5 minutes! I woke up and chose violence today. That work? There we go. Cool. 5 minutes of silence and peace. But yes, this assistant who shall not be named because we have not she has not been named in the game yet, and I do not know her name. She seems pretty cool. Already love her. Certainly more than Maya. We'll have to see if she can beat Emma though. That one will be tough. It will be tough, but you know, I believe in her. I fell deep into thought as my mind raced to understand what this all meant. That girl, I'd seen her recently. Where? That's when I made the connection. Bloody Ace. Mysterious girl. Oh, it's just us. Okay. April 20, 2:45 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 2.
Court will now reconvene. Defense Attorney Christoph Gavin, will you please take the stand?
I love the fact that fucking Winston Payne has done essentially nothing for the latter half of this trial. He's just stood back like, what? While fucking Phoenix and Gavin were duking it out. like he's just hanging out. He's chilling. Like, Gato would have fucking, like, just started interrupting constantly with fucking nonsense. I can appreciate Winston just letting the truth play out.
you would, Mr. Payne.
Yes, Your Honor. Well, the witness will just state his name and occupation.
Is this farce necessary, Your Honor?
Believe me, far stranger things have gone on in this courtroom.
Fine, I'll play along.
First, there's one thing we need to have made clear. How did you know about the secret beneath the victim's hat?
A secret? I'm guessing he means the fact that Mr. Smith was bald.
Forgive my curiosity, but what is it about this fellow's head? Your Honor seems to have an inordinate interest in it.
Objection!
I know that objection sound.
I wouldn't call it inordinate, Mr. Gavin. We got Phoenix Wright on the defense stand. Let's fucking go! Oh, this is hyper. Yeah, no, this is an S tier trial. This is definitely going to the top of the tier list. You know, when I do my, I'll update my my tier list ranking at the end of every game. I'll update it, and yeah, this is definitely going up there. My God. Mr. Wright!
What do you think you're doing, Wright?
Wow, things sure look different from the other side. You know what I mean, Apollo? Speaking of looking from the other side, let's consider something for a second. The victim wore that hat all night, except for once taking it off. Never once taking it off, except for that one time. That one time being the instant he was hit.
Oh!
When Mr. Wright returned from reporting the crime, the hat was lying on the floor. Mr. Wright picked it up and placed it on the victim's head. In other words, in order to have seen Mr. Smith's bald head, you would have had to be at the scene of the crime at the time of the crime.
In other words, you'd have to have been the real killer, is what you're trying to say.
He knows his stuff. Not bad, Apollo.
Mr. Gavin?
I'm afraid that I haven't been entirely honest with the court.
What?
Oh, I assure you, I had the noblest of intentions. I did it all to protect my client, Mr. Wright. Yet I'm afraid in the current situation, I see little reason to hide anything. Very well, allow me to tell you the truth of what happened that night.
Finally! You may begin your testimony. All these fucking lies! Why is this fucking kangaroo court bullshit always happen to me? Why does my brother never get cases like this? He gets easy cases. Oh, Master Moth! He's confessed to the crime already. Motherfucker gets the easiest shit. And I'm stuck with this bullshit. Tell us, how were you involved in the events of that fateful night? Let's just get this over with. My sandwich is getting cold.
That fateful night. The rage I sensed in that man that night troubled me. I returned to the club. I went down to the basement and peeked through that little window to the hideout.
Okay, I need some more water. Hold on. We'll finish the testimony, and then I'll go get some water, and then I'll be right back.
It must have been right after the murder took place. The victim was dead, and he appeared in this. As he appeared in this photo, a bald head, an unconscious girl, and Wright holding a bottle in his hand. I sensed that was not the best place for me to be at the time, and so I left. That's when the call came from Wright.
That's so stupid. Come on, man. You're smarter than this. You're like a defense attorney and shit.
Can we, no?
Do we have any record of that conversation? Actually, let's take a look at the bloody ace. Evidence, mysterious girl, could this be the fifth ace? Yeah. Never actually got to look at it. Single drop of blood marks the front of the card. Yeah, if only we had Emma Sky here to fucking run a DNA test. So, Gavin. So you're telling me, you left the club, then something bothered you about the man, so you came back. However, so you left the club, 5 minutes later, the guy arrives. Then they go downstairs, start playing a game of poker. And the last hand is when everything goes down, right? So, riddle me this. So you left the club. A few hours later, you decide, something's wrong here, and decide to go back. You go back. You go there. You see Wright murdering, well, supposedly holding the murder weapon after the victim has been killed. And you're like, fuck this shit, I'm out. Don't mind me. I'ma just take my stuff and leave. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Right? And he just fucking leaves. And then you get a call from Wright? And in that call, you don't mention anything? Yo, this is pathetic, man. Hire defense attorneys in this game, other than like Apollo, Phoenix, and Mia. All fucking shit at their... Also fucking stupid. First Gato and now this? Come on, man. Come on. You're better than this. This is some Gato level shit. You're not even thinking before you speak. You're just saying random words and hoping they sound smart. With your deep, sexy voice. And I will say, it is... That voice. It's very convincing. But it's not enough when what you say has no substance. So, you witnessed the murder. For better or worse, I missed the actual moment of the deed.
Mr. Gavin, may I remind you that you are Mr. Wright's defense team. Your testimony is clearly disadvantageous to your client. This could get you disbarred.
What else could I say? I'm standing on the witness stand after all.
Well, you also have, attorney-client privilege, means that you are literally not allowed to testify against your client, so, like, this is already, like, I'm pretty sure that's how it works, right? Hold on. Or is it just specifically what a client tells you, not what you witnessed? Oh, hi, Chadokami. Welcome back. Attorney-client privilege. And I know this is based on California, so let's use California. Let's see. Except as otherwise provided in this article, the client, whether or not a party, has privilege to refuse to disclose and prevent another from disclosing confidential communication between the client and the lawyer if the privilege is claimed by the holder of the privilege, a person who is authorized. But, okay. Whether or not a party has a privilege to refuse to disclose and prevent another from disclosing confidential communication between the client and the lawyer if the privilege is claimed by the holder of the privilege, a person who is authorized to claim the privilege, the holder of the privilege, or the person who was the lawyer at the time of the confidential communication. Such person may not claim the privilege if there is no holder of the privilege in existence, or if he is otherwise instructed by a person authorized to permit disclosure. Insurance claims exist between law, corporation, Article 10, business, professional, the word persons, yeah. It's communication. Okay. So if an attorney witnesses a crime being committed, that is not covered by attorney-client privilege. It only covers direct talk between... So, like, if Wright told Gavin, I killed this man, Gavin can't disclose that to the court. But if Gavin sees Wright killing the man, then he can. I think, if I'm reading the legalese correctly, that's right. Also, by the way, it is my sincere opinion that legalese is fucking stupid and really just prevents the common person from understanding laws. All laws should be written in a way that is easy for someone with, hell, even just a middle school education to understand the basic concept of it, but whatever. From what I could gather, it seems like this would not be covered under attorney-client privilege, so you're not getting disbarred yet, but you will once they found out you're a murderer. Sir, I thought the name was already revealed. They were literally calling her Mystery Girl. That was extreme. You know my policy, you know? You get one warning, right? And after that warning, which you've already had that warning before, you know about this rule. Any spoilers, regardless of accidental or not, is a 5-minute timeout. So, you know, and stop acting like I fucking banned you for like a month. Terra's still banned. He's banned for a fucking year. You don't see him complaining. Well, not that he can. I wonder if he will when he gets unbanned, but we'll see. It's 5 minutes. I don't know what you're complaining about. I'm standing on the witness stand after all. So you are, Mr. Gavin. And you had to testify. And you had to testify as you just did. You had to tell them you saw the scene of the crime through that little window. Mr. Wright? You had to say that. Because that was the only probable window of opportunity. Right, Apollo? Oh!
Mr. Wright, the defense should do the cross-examination, not the defendant. Mr. Justice, are you prepared?
Yes, Your Honor. I can't believe I'm going up against Mr. Gavin. Trial by fire. This trial is getting weirder and weirder. Fateful. This should be Gavin, not Payne. Alright. I'm gonna take this opportunity. Tara did it by choice. He did! He's still banned for a year. Yeah. You also got banned by choice because you chose to say a fucking spoiler. You piece of shit. You got what you fucking deserve! Alright, I'm gonna go get water. I'll be right back. It shouldn't even be 5 minutes. It'll be like a few seconds. Alright? Hold on. I'll play Great Revival. Be right back. I'm back, I'm back, I'm back, I'm back. Guess who's back? Back again. Shady's back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Alright, let's continue. Don't worry, Chatakami, I forgive you. I don't hold grudges. The rage I sensed in that man troubled me, so I returned to the club. Down to the basement, peeking through the little window to the hideout. Right after the murder took place, the victim was dead as he appears in the photo, a bald head, an unconscious girl, and Wright holding the bottle in his hand. Says that he was not the best place for me to be at that time, so I left. That's when a call came. Right. It's gonna be a problem for you to cross-examine. Is it gonna be a problem for you to cross-examine your own boss? I'm fine. Who was it that taught me never to pull punches in cross-examinations? It was you, Mr. Gavin. I learned it from watching you. Alright, let's get the pressing. What man? You mean Mr. Smith? He was different from the other customers. Azora, shall we say.
I knew he was a serious poker player, but he was more than that.
So then, you knew the true nature of the client's job.
Of course, but I also knew he wasn't engaged in gambling, which would be illegal.
Well, it makes sense that he'd know. We're friends after all.
Worried for my friend, I returned to the club. You see, I feared this Mr. Smith might be someone coming to settle an old score.
I see. What happened then?
Down the basement, peeked through the little window to the hideout. Thought the window peeked out to the street, right?
Little window? You mean the one you used to keep
Watch up the stairs. Oh, no, it peeks out to the stairs. Okay. Yes, a relic of an ancient past. The Black Marketeers used them, I believe.
Why did you go through the trouble of peeking in through that window? Wouldn't it have been easier to just open the door and go into the room?
I didn't want to upset Wright, you see.
Upset Mr. Wright?
Yes, what if my fears had been unfounded? I'd be walking in on their match. Bad form, to say the least.
Or everything he's saying makes sense.
He is good.
The time frame makes absolutely no sense, because they would have implied that the entire poker match took place over the course of like a few minutes. But I guess we're not touching on that much.
Right after the murder took place.
Hold it!
How do you know it was right after the murder?
Really, no need to shout, Justice. No, it's just getting to that part in my testimony.
There he is. Coolest defense in the West. No one loved.
Even when you're standing up there on the witness stand, some things never change. I'm afraid you'd change too, right? But you haven't. You and that overbearing personality of yours.
With friends like these, who needs enemies?
Victim was dead as he appears in the photo.
Hold it!
My photo? You mean the second photograph of the crime scene?
Precisely. You see, he wasn't wearing his hat then. I saw his head when he was dead.
Then Mr. Wright came along and replaced his hat. Can you describe the scene of the crime for us?
A bald head, an unconscious girl, and Wright, holding a bottle in his hand.
Hold it!
Okay. That so far is all works out.
Those were the only three at the scene of the crime?
Yes, as far as I saw at least.
And we're back to where we started. The killer was the defendant, Phoenix Wright. Who else could it have been? But why didn't you talk to the police?
2 reasons. First, I didn't actually witness the very moment of the crime. Second, my office was asked to defend Wright. Yet after seeing what I had seen, I couldn't abandon my friend.
Objection!
There must have been someone else there at that moment of the crime.
Justice. I just said I saw no one, not a soul.
I already forgave you. What? I already forgave you before you even asked me for forgiveness. The fuck?
What? It was against what Mr. Wright said. Ah yes, this mysterious 4th person. Who would conveniently be the real killer, I suppose.
Glad to see we agree, Mr. Gavin.
Let me pose a question. Tell me, what possible reason did the real killer have to swap the cards in the victim's hand? Well, perhaps you could show us a reason why such a thing would be necessary.
How can I show something I can't find myself?
Remember, Apollo, the card that was swapped out was the 5th ace.
5th ace? Yeah, you already have the evidence, but we're not presenting it yet.
Well, Mr. Justice, the question of why the killer would swap out the card has been raised. Can you point to a reason?
Not yet. Not that I can't, but I just don't want to. Not yet. Not yet, Your Honor. Fucking bots, motherfucker! Yeah, I see him. And banned. Yeah, fucking Puke is right. Jesus, motherfuckers are pathetic.
Not yet. Not pathetic. Not yet. Try not ever.
Well, Mr. Gavin,
Oh, I'm willing to wait for as long as it takes.
I don't even know what the heck I'm looking for.
Apollo,
Yes, sir.
don't forget, you already know the answer. You just don't realize it yet. No, I know. I just want to squeeze every last bit of info from you.
I already know the answer.
So you want to think it over again, okay?
Hold it!
Wouldn't it be better to wait for the police to arrive? Remember, though, by that time I was already Wright's defense attorney. What would it do for me to become part of the investigation?
That makes sense.
Does it? Now I'm confused.
Well, what happened next?
That's when the call came from Wright.
Hold it!
Now let's finish this up so I can go back to watching Dragon Ball. Finally got to the Tenshinhan saga. Where were you when the phone call came? I had already left the Borscht Bowl Club by that time. On the phone, he asked me to defend him. Actually, I was surprised. I accepted, however. I couldn't abandon him.
So kind of you. So far, everything jives with Mr. Wright's testimony. I think.
Is it gonna be a problem for you to cross? We've already seen this. But yeah, no, during the Persona 3 movie stream, they were coming in all the time, these fucking months. It was ridiculous. If anyone's interested in checking that out, what I'm talking about, me and Bryce, we sat through all 4 of the Persona 3 movies. It took us like 8 and a bit hours. It was fucking great. The first movie was kind of spotty and had a pretty low budget. Then, movie 2 had a big increase in budget, but it was also kind of rushed. Movies 3 and 4, though, were really really good. Photo. Well, you know what they say, Chowdakami, home is where the heart is. Alright, let's,
Hold it!
Look, I can use my touch screen like if it was a real 3DS. But he kind of knocks the camera around a little bit. So I won't do that. I'll keep using the mouse. Come on. There we go. Now we're getting to it. So yeah, so I had always thought that the reason why they swapped the card was something to do to hide the fact that cheating had happened. Though I don't know how that would have fit in with their motive of like framing right, so I'm not sure. I suppose this makes a lot more sense. Apollo, card that was swapped out was the 5th ace. Yeah, it was just coincidence that they happened to take that one. Yeah. It's now or never. The defense would like to present evidence to the court. Evidence showing the reason why a card was swapped out.
Then go ahead and point out your reason, Mr. Justice. Why did the killer take the 5th ace?
Because it had blood on it.
Take that!
My reason is, this.
Is that a... Just my glasses. It's an ace!
Oh, he's twitching. My man is so mad. Oh my god, look at his lips. Look at his lips. He's fucking twitching. This is insane. Why wasn't I told about this? Why am I never told about anything?
Could this be the missing fifth ace?
Inconceivable. Could you? What are you doing with that card? Oh, well, that's the thing. Is Mr. Gavin so upset? It's just a fishy card from some fishy girl. Oh, that card. That's mine. That is, I picked it up at the Borscht Bowl Club the night the murder had occurred. Gave it to my daughter. Cards are her stock and trade, after all. Oh, impossible. Unacceptable. I see. So Wright knew that if the card was, submitted as evidence, it would be an issue. So he made sure that I would receive it at the critical moment. Literally, my house is flying right now because Mom told me to clean up before she gets home. The court can't accept this evidence. It's a fraud. A fraud? How can you be so sure? What? I would think the only person who could claim it was a fraud would be the one who took the real card from the crime scene. The real killer. Allow me to elaborate. What if this trace of blood was the reason? The reason for the killer to take the card from the scene of the crime.
Where are you going with this?
Take another look at the photo and at the victim's head. The moment of the crime, his hat fell to the floor, and the trickle of blood ran from his forehead down the back of his head. Couldn't a drop of that blood have fallen on one of the cards? Suppose. The problem with that is, there's nothing suspicious about blood in a crime scene, right? So what? They find a card, it's got the victim's blood on it, and the cops are just sitting there like, well, it's got the victim's blood on it. It's not. I mean, this proves that the victim bled, but I'm pretty sure we already knew that. So, yeah. The only reason why the killer would take this would be if it was their blood, right? They would only take it if it was incriminating evidence somehow. I suppose. The killer then took the card to hide the blood. Regardless, evidence is not permissible. Oh. Right. Cardless eye you wanted. Wasted the last 7 years. You used to be a lawyer. You know what a serious crime it is to conceal evidence. Now, we can discuss the finer points of our legal system later. What's important now is that I've answered your question. What are you talking about? You wanted to know why the killer would have taken a card from the crime scene? And now I've told you that one drop of blood would have been decisive evidence, you see? This is baseless conjecture! Baseless!
Objection!
Oh, I assure you, it's quite based! Based in red build! Truly, this game is ahead of its time! My god! I'm not even gonna comment on the fact that, he finally did the thing! But, I assure you, it's quite based! Hold on, I need to screenshot this. Give me a second. Hold on just a second. Just a moment. I'm gonna start using this now. I'm literally gonna start using this now. Anytime someone calls something I say cringe or whatever, I'm just gonna post this image. That's it. That's all I'm doing. Oh, I assure you, it's quite based. Oh, hold on, let me save this. Hold on. Based.png. There we go. Really cool. Okay. Can we swap back over to full screen? Yep. Okay, let's continue. What? It's amazing, really. How a single drop of blood on a single card can lead us to the truth. That's quite simple. Well, Apollo? Yes! Try picturing the scene of the crime. Try picturing the scene of the crime in your head.
Oh, it's 3D!
Is this because if this was the 3DS, would it like pop out? That'd be cool. The murder took place in the hideout. The body of the luckless victim was found at the poker table. And before the killer swapped a card out, there was a single card with a drop of blood on it, the victim's hand. Given this, there is one decisive problem with this scene.
Well, what is it?
Let's keep it simple. Shall we? Given that there was a drop of blood on the card, whose position in this diagram doesn't fit? The victims, the killers, the witness, second witnesses? Whose position doesn't fit in with the bloody card? What? Hold on. The victims, right? Because the card doesn't have anything to do, because assuming the victim was killed where he was, assuming the victim was killed in that chair, the blood would have trickled down onto the chair. However, instead the blood trickled down onto the card on the table. So then the victim must have been moved, I think?
Take that!
Well, isn't it the victim's position that's the problem?
I don't follow your logic here, Mr. Justice.
Well, look, the victim was struck on the head, sending him back in his chair. You think any blood would fall behind his body, not into the table in front of him?
Ah!
I mean, yeah, but like it's also entirely possible for blood to have just splattered when he was hit. Take a look at the photo again. He bled in this position. Blood would fall on the floor, not on the cards.
Why, that's right! So what does this mean?
Incidentally, we were sitting in swivel chairs. It means that the chair was the other way around when the actual murder took place. Now, that is a crucial. Swivel chairs? Oh man. Thomas Jefferson is the killer? What? No. Apollo, wake up! Thomas Jefferson is dead, not the killer. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Wright, I'm new at this. I know. It's fine. Let's continue. Apollo, try turning the chair around.
The chair was facing the other way?
It would have to be. The budget is so much! So, the victim's chair was facing away from the table.
When Mr. Wright returned from informing the police, which way was the chair facing?
When I came back to my room, the body was facing as seen in this photo. That would mean the killer turned the chair back around. Let's take the next step. Look at the diagram once more. We know that the victim was facing away from the table at the time of the murder. But this creates another significant contradiction. Again? Let's test your reasoning skills again, shall we? Apollo, whose location in this diagram contradicts our new understanding of the crime? The victims, the killers, the witness, the second one, yeah. It's the killer. because the victim was hit on the front of the head, which means the killer must have been standing here.
Take that!
The victim was struck from the front, correct? Indeed. Well, wouldn't it be hard for the killer to hit him from the front? Sitting where his indicator currently is? I mean, I guess you could, like, do, like, a backward swing, like, you could, like, reach around and then just bonk him, right? And just fucking bam! I mean, you would not be able to generate enough force to kill a man, but you could hit him. You could. Fucking bots! I swear to God I will snap and murder someone! My God! Get fucked. Okay! I think it'd be quite hard, yes. Yes, but what you're saying makes no sense. Why would the victim suddenly turn to face the wall? In the middle of a game? I believe a sufficient reason will soon come to light. What? The secret passageway. There's a secret passageway in the room, right? Is it the same message every time? No, it's slightly different, but it's always like that similar type of message. I have no idea what it's supposed to be. I think it's like supposed to be a link, but they have a space before or after the period so that YouTube doesn't detect it as a link. Because if YouTube detects a link in the chat, it automatically flags it for review. So to get around that, they'll usually just they'll separate the two parts of the link. So if you want to access the link, you have to like manually copy it. But I don't know. Can you do me a favor next time? If you want to look at what the message is, you can just go back in the VOD. Remember, the chat we have on that side. The chat over on that side has, like, when I delete a message on YouTube, it doesn't delete it from the chat box. So if you just, scroll back on the video, scrub, I think is the you will be able to see the message. What? Ridiculous. There's something in this diagram that makes far less sense. Oh yeah, I wanted to check the photo. So, the whole purpose of this is that it was like a big, like, black, like, it was a smuggling ring, right? Want to see what it means to Google Translate? I don't think it's an actual, like, language. I think it's a link. But if this is a smuggling, the window is kind of useless, right? I mean, sure, you got a guy looking out for if cops are coming down the fucking staircase, but if cops are coming down the staircase, what do you gotta do about it? You're locked in. There's only one way out. Or is there? For a lookout to even make sense, there must be another way to get out of that room that isn't through the staircase. Meaning that there must be a hidden passageway somewhere in that room. Now, I don't know why Gavin would know about this secret passageway, but it would seem that he does. So, he comes out, it would also explain another question that I've been having, and that is, how did Mr. Gavin get into the basement without Wright seeing him, despite the fact that Wright was, standing guard upstairs while calling the police? So, when Wright goes upstairs, Gavin sneaks into the room through the hidden passageway. As he does this, the Shady hears him, so he turns around to face Kristoff, who then smacks him with a bottle. That kills him. Blood trickles down onto the card. Gavin turns it around to make it seem like, the body didn't get fucked. To, make it seem like the body was just the wrong place. And then, he would then he takes the card. So, Gavin here is... You don't remove things from a crime scene, especially not something that could come back to bite. He should have just kept that card in the crime scene. So what I would have done in this situation rather than just remove the card altogether and swap it out, because that's what unraveled his Web of Lies originally, what I would have done is I would have knocked every card, and I would have knocked a bunch of the cards and chips off the table, make it look like the struggle that went down during the fight knocked a bunch of the cards off the table, and then I would just make sure to place the ace card that got blood on it right below the back of his head as it is in this position, so that it would look like the blood could realistically trickle down from the back of his head to the card. There you go, bing bada boom, it's that easy. That actually, because that completely solves the issue of like multiple card colors, and literally this whole thing could have, like, Wright would be in jail right now if he had just done what I suggest. Guess I'm just a better criminal. But yeah, I was trying to see if we could maybe see the hidden passageway, maybe? But no, there's no, like, really clear pictures of the room. Something in this diagram that makes far less sense, actually. Looking at the diagram. Although, if the victim was struck while sitting, as shown here, where would his assailant be standing? In the middle of a cabinet, which makes no sense. Unless you move the cabinet and there's a secret passageway, right? Welcome back. We've just been discussing how Gavin is a very bad criminal, and I could have definitely committed this murder much better than he did. Just saying. I'm marking it on the diagram. But there's no room to put a mark where the killer should be. Don't worry. Let's take it through and see what we find. We know the victim was facing towards the wall at the time of the crime. That's the only thing we know for sure. Try to forget about everything else. Where would the killer have to be standing to strike a victim from the front? Right. Rather than trying to figure out, is it possible for the killer to be standing there, work off of the assumption that the killer was standing there. What would need to happen for that to be the case? The killer had to be standing, well, here. You get points for flair, but that's about all you get. I thought I was onto something there too. I hardly need to point out that standing there would be impossible. The victim is facing a solid cupboard. Or are you claiming the killer climbed through the cupboard and hit him from above, huh? It's simple logic, really. This is the only place the killer could have been standing. Then that means that the very moment of the crime... Wait, I know. At the moment of the crime, the cupboard wasn't there.
What's this now?
I mean, it's the only explanation. Your Honor, I have a suggestion for the defense. We should arrange to examine the cupboard in the hideout. Immediately! He did the pointing again.
Bailiff, send a team to the crime scene immediately. Have them try to move the cupboard.
Your Honor,
What?
there's one more thing your men should look for. Please, give this to the bailiff.
Yes. See, you do belong in the courtroom after all, Mr. Wright.
I do my best. What the fuck is this man up to? But let's forge ahead here while we wait. Look at the diagram once again. It's been changed. If the killer was standing here at the time of the crime, then this cupboard wasn't here. Which means... Apollo, try moving the cupboard. It was blocking the window. Thank you. As you can see, the cupboard was the problem. At the time of the murder, it had to have been as shown here. Now everything is in place to reconstruct the moment of the crime. Oh my! What's this?
What is it now?
Look at the diagram of the crime scene once more. It appears we found yet another contradiction. I really like this. How just everything is like changing and like one thing leads to the other. Yeah. Okay. What I believe to be the final contradiction, in fact. Huh? Oh, dang. Notice something, Apollo? Our line of deduction is rapidly approaching its logical conclusion.
Now then, Mr. Justice, please point to the new contradicting indicator. Is it the victim, the killer, the witness, the second witness? Oh, I can't wait! Which indicator in this diagram contradicts what we know about the crime scene?
The second witness. About this cupboard. Are we all okay with assuming that it was moved?
Sure, why not?
Well, if it was, something really doesn't fit. The cupboard would completely cover up the window to the stairs.
Ah!
That's right. Someone standing outside wouldn't be able to see in.
Just got bullied in Fortnite. You got bullied by like what, a 3-year-old? Good job.
Someone like Mr. Gavin.
What did you say?
Oh, is the coolest defense in the West losing his cool?
Don't expect me to play along with your little game, right?
It's only a game until someone gets killed, Mr. Gavin. And someone was. Well, the window to that room was blocked by a cupboard. So, Mr. Gavin, perhaps you'd like to explain to the court. Exactly. Where did you witness the crime scene from?
Excuse me, Your Honor. Order! This is a court of law, and I will have order! We just now received word from our investigation team at the Borscht Bowl Club. They've examined the cupboard at the hideout, Your Honor. Oh! What did they find? Well, Your Honor, it turns out there's a secret passage behind it. What?
There we have it. Ah, yes, I believe I mentioned something of the sort before. This is one of those tricks to the room many of our regulars know about. You'll remember him saying something about that now that he mentions it. And Gavin was a regular, so that works out. Secret passage is a handy thing to have when you're engaged in illegal goings-ons. Never know when you might need to duck away from the eyes of the law. So the room has a secret passage? Where does it go? The other side connects to the restaurant above. The underworld bosses can get away from the cops and enjoy a cold bowl of borscht, no doubt. Just like our killer. Seriously gonna stream the entire case? I mean, we're really at the tail end here. Like, it would make no sense to stop now. You see where our line of simple deductive reasoning has led us, Apollo? I see it, but I don't believe it. That girl wasn't kidding when she said I needed this trump card for the last hand. All the time of the murder, the window was blocked and the victim's hat. It's only off his head for a few minutes between Mr. Smith's murder and Mr. Wright's return from calling the cops. In other words, the only place anyone could have seen the victim's bald head was from inside the hideout. Oh, Mr. Gavin? Say something!
Dare I ask, what really happened that night?
Actually, I think we can probably figure it out ourselves at this point. That night, for whatever reason, our killer had a date with Mr. Smith. Date with Destiny. Where he crouched. There he crouched, hidden in the secret passageway behind the cupboard, holding his breath, waiting for just the right moment. Then the chance came. He took it.
Ah!
Ah! Oh, that's him attacking her. Why did you do that? Wait here, I'll get help. Miss Olga O'Reilly was out cold, struck by Mr. Smith. But his time was soon to come. Mr. Wright went upstairs to call the cops, leaving Mr. Smith alone in the hideout with the unconscious dealer. Then, our killer stepped out from the secret passageway and into the hideout. The victim must have heard the cupboard sliding aside. And he wheeled his chair around to look, and after the deed was done, the criminal must have seen the blood on the card. He would have, of course, realized the need to destroy the evidence. That single spot of blood told the whole story of the crime. Too bad for him he didn't linger any longer in the hideout that night. Yeah, he may have noticed the cards on the floor. And the fact that they were all red
Well, it seems this trial has taken yet another turn. I'm truly sorry I had to see this day come, Mr. Gavin.
Mr. Gavin?
Mr. Payne!
Yes! I mean, yes, Your Honor.
The prosecution will continue its investigation. As for Mr. Phoenix Wright, the defendant, he is hereby cleared on all suspicion.
Ah!
Believe me when I say that I don't believe this is happening, Mr. Gavin. But I'm afraid the circumstances call for me to issue a warrant for your arrest immediately.
Objection! What now? Oh, no need to apologize. I rather enjoyed myself. It's not every day you get to witness the legendary attorney's dirty tactics firsthand.
Your point, Mr. Gavin.
Frankly, Your Honor, I'm shocked. That a person of your caliber would be taken in by such low-grade parlor tricks.
I mean, compared to the shit that, Gatto pulled, these are high-grade parlor tricks, mind you. Yeah, what is it?
Excuse me.
What do you have to do to get banned? Like a timeout or like a full-on ban, like perma-ban? Like, define your terms more clearly.
Excuse me.
The defendant is cleared of all suspicion. It's hardly the time for jokes, Your Honor. Mr. Wright isn't proving anyone's guilt or innocence here. What he has done is use illegal evidence to put the blame on someone else.
Oh, Kristoff, the second man in this court's history to actually bring up evidence law. Congratulations, Jesus Christ.
The standard is really low.
Full ban. Ah! I think if you spoil something maliciously, like when me and Bryce were playing the first Danganronpa game and we were on the first trial, this asshole showed up and just literally just spoiled who the killer was in the chat. Just straight up. So malicious spoilers like that is instant permaban, essentially. And then just other stuff, like if you're like harassing people and I'm like, alright, tone it down, don't do that shit. And if you do it again, probably gonna get a time. You know, just repeated offenses will probably land you in a permaban, unless, you know, it's accidental stuff, like accidental spoiling, you get the 5-minute timeout because it's just the rule to make you think about your mistakes. You know, you go sit in the corner, but you know, you're not gonna get permaban for, you know, accidentally spoiling stuff. You know? Now if you know, are spoiling stuff on purpose, you're getting the L. But you know, it mostly just repeated offenses and anything that I just consider you being an absolute dick. Like, you know, like if you just show up and start calling people the N-word, you're getting permanent. It's that easy. Or, you know, you just annoy me and I don't want to deal with you, so, you know, I just get rid of you so I don't have to. That's pretty straightforward. And bots annoy me.
But I'm not just anyone else, but his own defense attorney.
Illegal evidence!
Let me ask you, Mr. Gavin, is there still any reason at present to suspect me of wrongdoing? Of course, this bottle, for instance.
Bottle of grape juice. Mr. Wright was drinking.
How did you intend to explain away the fingerprints on the murder weapon? And not just any fingerprints, am I right, Mr. Payne?
Actually, yes, the fingerprints on the bottle were upside down. Discord link always in the description, right? And, you know, you can join that and we notify you when we're going live there, so you never miss it. I seem to recall this being an issue earlier.
The court, in this case, demanded an explanation. I can think of only one reason why one would hold the bottle upside down, and that is to hit someone with the bottom of the bottle. Well, Your Honor?
Or maybe they were trying to get a card out that they put in there earlier. Because, hold on, let me make sure I have all the fucking Coke out of this bottle, right? Again, let's use this $10 bill to represent a playing card, right? We fold it up, you know, nice and tight. Hold on, I did not do that right. So we just, you know, fold this up real nice and tight. Just roll it up. So I take this $10 bill and I just fold it up real tight. Now, this is tighter than you'd be able to fold a card, admittedly, but at the same time, the $10 bill is also longer than a playing card, so, you know, I think it would still work out. So, now we got the card, now we got it folded, right? Hopefully it won't expand too much, because otherwise we won't be able to get it out, right? Got the $10 bill. This is like a playing card. Stick it in the bottom. That is not a good fold. My god. Fold needs to be perfect, otherwise it's gonna get stuck and I'll lose $10. I mean, I'll just smash the bottom. So. Alright. So I stick that in the bottom, right? Pretty easy. It's in the bottom, right? But I can't get it out. So if I want to get it out, I have to turn this bottle upside down, and then it comes out. Pretty straightforward, I would say. So that explains not only why there are upside down fingerprints and why the card is no longer there. So I think that mystery is solved. And that is to hint someone at the bottom of the bottle, Your Honor. See how the caught fish squirms to the last. Well, Apollo? Yes. Your boss seems awfully concerned about this bottle still. But I'm sure you can come up with a suitable explanation just like that. Oh, yeah. Just like what? How would anyone grab a bottle upside down other than to... Don't let him trick you into thinking his explanation is the only legitimate one. Is there really another? Yeah, easy. Take another look at the court record. I believe you'll find a simple answer there, in plain sight. How about you just say the answer in plain words?
It would be hasty to deliver a verdict with unanswered questions, indeed. Well, Mr. Justice?
Mr. Gavin said that the court in this case demand an explanation. Don't worry, justice won't leave until justice is done!
Perhaps the defense would care to enlighten the court. What evidence do you have to explain why the fingerprints on this bottle are upside down?
Murder weapon, Mr. Wright's fingerprints, So, I know, like, I have a theory for why they're upside down, but I don't see how that could, how that would explain. Yeah, I don't see how that would explain, anything related. I don't see what evidence here would be related to that explanation, right? Let's see. Removed. Amendment. Let's look through everything. Attorney badge. Nothing here. Autopsy report. 5 a.m. 2:15. Cerebral hemorrhaging resulting from trauma to 4. Cool. Knife photo 1. And the bottle is empty, you know? Bottle is completely empty. I guess I could present the bottle itself and the fact that it's empty, maybe? Hat removed during the investigation. Not really anything important there. Cell phone. The server is mostly dead. I mean, I post, Darius posts some images there, mostly Danganronpa ships. But it's just it's useful to be in there so you can, like, you know, communicate whenever we're not streaming. Like, you don't have to ask me in the comments when the next Persona stream is gonna be. You can just ask me on Discord, and I'll get back to you faster, you know? Quite useful. Olga's photo. Seeing the... I'm a victim of chips. I don't see anything in the bottle. Victim's hand. Bloody ace. Deadly weapon. Alright, let's try the bottle maybe? The only one I can think of. The fact that the bottle is empty, despite the fact that Wright had put the card in it.
Now seems like the perfect time for a penalty!
Damn it! What do they expect? I have no idea how to explain it. I mean, I have an explanation, I'm just not sure how to convey it to the fuck. God damn it. I have an explanation, I just don't know how to convey it. Think it too hard, Apollo. The answer's right in front of you. Just reach down and pick it up. Or try picturing situations in which one might grab the bottle upside down. The fact that in this photo the bottles were behind him? I guess, like... I guess you could make the argument, hold on, that, like... Let me angle this a bit down. Like, if this was the bottle, right, and it's down there, right? I guess you could make the argument that he would reach down like this, to pick it up, and that's why his fingerprints would be upside down as if he was hitting someone with it. But like, the way I would do it is I'd probably reach down and grab it normally, right? Especially the ones that are right next to him, right? Like, I don't know why you would just... I mean, I guess, like, it's easy to grab, but then like, what do you do with this? Do you like carry it around like this? Like, ah, no, please don't hit me. No, I'm just taking it to the table. And then you put it down, or like, do you like flip it in your hand maybe? But it's like, it's a heavy bottle full of juice, so I don't know. I'm not sure, but I guess that's, I'm sure that's what it wants us to go with. So that was my other thought, but I just thought that was a bit of a stretch, but I guess whatever. It's actually easier to show than explain, Your Honor. Place the bottle on the floor next to your chair.
Excuse me? On the floor?
Yes, now reach down and pick it up. Without getting out of your chair. And just lean. Ah! See? You naturally go to pick up the bottle by its neck. With your fingers upside down. Look at this photograph taken on the night of the murder. The defendant, Mr. Wright, sat here, playing piano. Bottles of grape juice on the floor to the side of the piano bench. He would have naturally picked up the bottles upside down several times.
Wow, I can't believe it was that simple.
Recall our dinner that evening, Christoph. I was drinking my usual juice then, too. Basically, you used the bottle on the table to do the deed. But then you must have remembered. So you went and picked up one of the bottles from under the piano. You switched the bottles. Right, which is why the actual murder weapon has the 5 of hearts in it, but the weapon we have doesn't, because that's not the murder weapon. Like I was saying, you took one of Mr. Wright's bottles, made it look like the murder weapon.
Order, order, order! What do you have to say to these charges, Mr. Gavin?
Fascinating. So this is the legendary attorney's famed tactic of misdirection. What? You claim that I switched the bottle. Where's your proof? No, don't pull that shit. I don't care if you switch the bottles. I really don't. I legitimately don't care if you switch the models. That is completely irrelevant to this case. You are the one trying to convince. Mr. Right is the one on trial here, not you. I might be accusing you, but you're not on trial yet, which means the burden of proof is on you to prove that Mr. Right is. You claim that those fingerprints have something to do with the murder? Great. I'm just giving you an example of how they might not be. Their mere existence is not enough to justify the fact that Mr. Right is the murderer. Which means, unless you can prove that that bottle wasn't switched, and therefore, you're the one who has to prove that those fingerprints mean that, yeah, you have to prove that that those fingerprints indicate Wright being the killer. Russell's teapot, motherfucker! Rude! Well, that's, as I thought, more baseless conjecture. Well, no, I do have proof. By the way, yes, I do have proof, just to let you know. But you still should prove it yourself, because you're an idiot. I'm afraid your bottle of proof is quite empty. The fact that it's empty is proof enough, you ding-dong! You know, for like one of the best defense attorneys right now, you clearly don't think before you speak, because you just sealed your own grave. I wouldn't be so sure about that. Your Honor, when you initiated the investigation of the hideout earlier, do you recall I requested an additional investigation?
Yes, I have your memo about that here.
He had them check the other bottles to see which one had a card in it.
Retrieve the bottles from under the piano at the Borscht Bowl Club. And here's one of the bottles in question.
What are you going to dust that for fingerprints too? I'd be surprised if anywhere on that but his. Mr. Gavin probably wouldn't make such a novice mistake. True. That bottle won't bear any trace of anything. Say, Apollo. Yes? Why don't you go ahead and examine the bottle? Why? Just humor me. Mr. Wright. That bottle will solve this case once and for all. What? That's some bottle? Well, yeah. Guess it's gonna have a card inside of it. Hey, there it is. There's something inside the bottle. What's this? A card. It can't be! Recall that unpleasant woman's testimony for a moment. Miss Olga O'Reilly? Yes, our little swindling Devochka. That night I planted the card like I was supposed to. And Wright lost the last hand just like he was supposed to. Then Smith searched him, but the planted card was gone. The trap failed. Wait, this isn't... You're telling me that this is the planted card you disposed of? The one you mentioned in this piece of testimony. I happened to put my hand in my pocket and found a card. Yes, I snuck a peek at it and found it was the 5 of hearts. I had a feeling something might happen, so I disposed of the card before the game.
Dispose? Where?
There was an empty bottle of grape juice I had been drinking right beside me. I threw the card inside the bottle. The 5 of hearts. This is the card. Bottles were swapped, and the only one who could have done that was the 4th person in the room that night. You, Mr. Christoph Gavin. Maniacal laugh? Or anger? Why, he has the Force! Why does he have the Force? Everyone run, we're in danger!
No, please. You're innocent. I won't.
Okay, I'm done. That is all. Our client clearly used the Force to not our client. Gavin clearly used the Force to commit the murder, Your Honor.
Oh, yes, I understand now.
Is this your idea of revenge, Phoenix Wright?
Revenge?
Revenge for the events that took away your attorney's badge 7 years ago. My past is like my logic, straight and true. Nothing's changed. All I did was point the finger of justice in the proper direction. That's my finger! I'm justice! Fine. I'm glad we could have this tete-a-tete. Right?
This is insane! What about me? Could I get to prosecute anyone?
No, that's my job now, bitch.
I believe that this time we've finally come to the end of our trial. Mr. Payne, do you have a report for us on Christoph Gavin?
He's admitted everything. We're processing his arrest now. I still don't understand his motive.
I see. Still, one has to wonder why he would do such a thing. He didn't even have a connection to the victim, did he?
None that we know of.
Mr. Wright, have you anything to add?
I'm afraid I can't shed any more light on the matter.
Ooh, looks like we're gonna have we're gonna have an overarching story in this game, just like in Trials and Tribulations. Hopefully the climax of that one won't be as bad as Greatest of the Turnabout, but we'll see.
About this victim, Mr. Shady Smith. His occupation was listed as a traveler. An odd profession to be sure. That's all we know about him.
I'll arrange a follow-up investigation, Your Honor.
Good. Mr. Wright?
Yes?
7 years, and you still haven't lost your touch.
Christoph Gavin is a man with much significance for me, both as a friend and a lawyer.
He was extremely talented, to be sure.
I need 2 things before I could confront him. Needed. First was a place where no injustice would be tolerated. This courtroom. The second was a man who would tolerate no injustice. In other words, a defense attorney. You, Apollo. Me. It was the dark time for our legal system.
Well, yeah, that's why he specifically requested you.
Twisting of justice brought on by our very own initial trial system. You have to set it right. Mr. Wright. Our work lies ahead of us, and I, for one, am looking forward to it.
Ooh, intriguing!
Well, this seems to be a good time to announce a verdict. This court finds the defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright, not guilty!
Yay!
Love the confetti.
Court is adjourned.
April 20th, 4:28 p.m. District Court. We missed 420 by so little. We were this close to greatness. Or 422. 422 also works because if you think about it, 422 is 422. I know, I'm just too good. Thanks, Apollo. You came through, just like I thought you would. Pretty sure I didn't do a thing in there. It was you who cornered Mr. Killer. I couldn't have done it by myself. You sensed it too today, didn't you? Your ability. Ability? Yes, sensitivity I lack. You'll come to understand it soon enough. His perceive ability. Whatever the fuck that is. I wonder if he means... One question for the witness then. You say you saw the moment the defendant hit the victim. Is this true? Of course it's true. What's this weird vibe I'm getting? What was that, Mr. Wright? You awakened your Sharingan, Apollo, and now that you've taken down your own mentor, it should have been upgraded to the Mangekyo. What? You shall... Now here, I will pass it down to you. The Rinnegan! Mr. Wright, this is too fast. I don't even know any jutsu. What was that, Mr. Wright? You'll have to find the answer to that question yourself. Answer. Right. The game was full of questions without answers. Most of them about Mr. Gavin.
What possible reason could he have had to commit murder? Perhaps you'll learn that in the days to come. Wait, you don't know, do you? This locket is the key. Huh? Oh, that reminds me. I met the girl whose picture is in your locket. Your daughter, right? So, I can't help but notice. In the, when we met her, she was wearing blue. In the picture, she's wearing red. Red and blue. Well, we know right wears blue. Who do we know that wears who do we know that wears red, actually? Well, aside from Apollo, because Apollo has never met her. I'll give you a hint. It starts with E. And it ends with Jaworth. Think about that one. They fucked. Alright, anyways, moving on. Right there, she's my daughter. You know, you were right about this locket. Huh? I took this off his neck the night he died. It looks like our dear Russian scam artist saw me. The truth is, this locket really did belong to him. Wait, but that's perjury! You testified. You said the locket was yours. I said no such thing, actually. Huh? I merely said that it was a locket with my daughter's picture inside. A subtle distinction, but a distinction nonetheless. And it's the truth. Wait, but then why? Why was the victim wearing a locket with a picture of your daughter inside it? Sometimes the straightest path to the truth isn't the best one. Motherfucking scammers, we're having a moment here. Motherfucker. Gone. Give it time. You're still just getting started with your career. Speaking of which, I may be out of a job. I work at Gavin Law offices after all. I still can't believe I just saw Mr. Gavin get led away in handcuffs. Apollo? Yes? How about coming to work for me? You mean at the Wright & Co. law offices that have been shut down for 7 years? Well, okay, when you put it like that. I mean, there's not a single attorney in my generation that doesn't know it. I can't imagine that to be true, but... Wait, but you're not a... Oh, I turned in my badge, yes. I'm not an attorney anymore. That incident 7 years ago. Ooh, what is this music? Legendary trial. The Pee-Pee-Poo-Poo 69 incident! I've read about it in law school. And at the middle of it all was one man, Phoenix Wright. The case reached its sad conclusion, and he left law for good. You ever thought about coming back to the courts? I'm not qualified to stand in a court of law, I'm afraid. Didn't you notice in today's trial? There's a single piece of forged evidence. The card, right? Forged evidence? What are you talking about? Talking about the evidence that shouldn't have existed. A naughty magician's trick. One piece of evidence struck me as odd, it's true. It just seemed, well, too perfect. I'll bet this was the forged evidence. The forged ace from the Ace Attorney. You mean this, don't you? He's been taking some lessons from Edgeworth, what can I say? Got this from your daughter, Mr. Wright. Yes, that card couldn't have been found at the scene of the crime. Why? Because the killer took it with him when he left, leaving the wrong card in its place, luckily for us. The court can accept this evidence. It's a fraud. A fraud. How can it be so sure? I would think the only person who could claim it was a fraud would be the one who took the real card from the crime scene, the real killer. Right, it was essentially non-falsifiable, because the only way he could prove that, because if this was true, if this was real, it unravels his whole case. But if it's false, the only way he can prove it's false is by showing the real one, which would unravel his whole case. So in a sense, it's false, it's forged, but it's not false. There is a piece of evidence that is an ace of spades with a drop of blood on it. It just so happens that it's not this one. So the evidence that we presented is true, and it leads us to a truthful conclusion, but it's just not. You know, it is forged, even if it is a forged truth, essentially, which is kind of a gray area, I would say, morally speaking. My verdict was already handed down 7 years ago. And you really... Yes, I forged this card. One look at the crime scene should have told you it wasn't real. But you can't do something like that and call yourself an attorney. Who's calling themselves an attorney, Apollo? So it's true. The rumor is true. 7 years ago. None of that matters much now, does it? I punched him! Chad! It's your story from here on out, Apollo. Perhaps I can help you turn the next page. My office address. Drop in. Like? Mr. Wright. Oh, about your uppercut. It was an uppercut?! Oh, I thought he like sucker punched him. No, he fucking like... Try yelling, "Take that," next time. I find it packs a little more punch. And Apollo, thanks for today. I had a good time. I'm loving this. My God. This is easily one of the best trials in the series. Holy shit. And with that, Mr. Wright walked out the door. That's how my first trial ended. A lot of mysteries went unsolved, and at the time, I had no idea they were all related. Every mystery that day, connected by a single thread of logic. I'd find that out soon enough. My name is Apollo Justice, attorney at law, Esquire, and this is how my story begins. That was a really good first case. That was really good. Turnabout Corner. Brand new episode has been added. We're not going to play it, though. So then that does explain Turnabout Trump. Because, you know, the Trump card. Turnabout Corner. I have no idea. Man, yeah, that was so good. Everything from Gavin being the killer to everything just falling in place so neatly, but also leaving all these questions open for the future. And it seems the game will definitely have an overarching narrative. I'm just not sure how it's all gonna tie together, you know? So good. I do really like Apollo as a character. Like, he's very different from Wright, but very similar in a lot of ways. Like, he's also like this hot upstart who, you know, is kind of nervous, but but he's also like Wright was always just had this just commanding presence. He's built like a truck too. Apollo is always like, he seems so nervous all the time, but you know, he pulls through in the end. I like the fact that he has a slightly different skill set. His whole thing about like perceive, right? That's really cool. And yeah, no, the case is just really well put together all along. I don't really have any complaints about the logic behind it, and yeah. Also, from a narrative perspective, really good. Like all the little sus things that Gavin was doing, and then, you know, Wright using forged evidence to get his way. It actually, if you think about it, Apollo is actually kind of similar to Edgeworth, whereas Wright is more similar to, well, I mean, I don't know if I would call him Chief Gant or Prosecutor Sky, because during the SL9 incident, Prosecutor Sky / Chief Gant forged evidence to get Joe Dark convicted. Now Joe Dark was the killer, and he deserved what he got, just like Gavin did, but they still chose to forge evidence to ensure the conviction. Edgeworth used the forged evidence, not knowing that it was forged. And then when he found out, it completely destroyed his entire worldview. Learning that he had used forged evidence literally made him quit prosecution. In a sense, it's very similar because Gavin was guilty and Phoenix forged evidence to ensure that verdict. Apollo used the evidence without knowing and then learned about it later. So that's interesting. Edgeworth has a stronger moral compass than Apollo, by the way. Just putting that out there. It's just how it is. So, yeah. I think we're done for today. I'm gonna go watch some Dragon Ball and play some XCOM 2. Yeah. Ooh, actually. Before we go, I'm actually gonna watch the intro to the, I'm gonna watch the intro to the first case. To the second case, Turnabout Corner. Just get a little preview for what we're into next time, and then, we'll be back whenever I have time. Thinking about my schedule. Tomorrow, I might be able to stream tomorrow. Depends on the circumstances, but I'll probably be live Friday. I think I'll be live Friday, but either tomorrow or Friday. Definitely not Thursday. Either tomorrow or Friday. Look up for a stream. Subscribe if you're new. That way you get notified. You can also join our Discord down in the description. We always notify you on Discord. It's a much more reliable notification system than YouTube. And you can also hang out, post memes, chat, all that good stuff. And yeah, don't forget to like if you liked it. Liking is for. And yeah, let's just take a look at this and then head out. What kind of wheel? As long as we draw breath, the wheel of fate turns. It's a car. JoJo Part 6? What is that? That looks like a magician outfit. Was that Phoenix's daughter? That's the wheel. So it wasn't a car, it was just a guy but there was a car. It was spinning big crimes and little crimes together. And when the wheel stops... What? You die. Well, that's morbid. June 15th. Brighton Co-Law Offices. Okay, getting right into it. But I'm gonna stop it right there because, yeah, that's it. So there was a wheel, something about fate. Two guys met each other. One had a cart. One shot the other. We don't know who shot who. Or, honestly, that seemed quite a lot like, Turnabout Goodbye. The DL6 case. Where Edgeworth and the guy are on the boat, and then there's the gunfire, and then the guy dies, and, it seems like Edgeworth shot him, but, that seemed like kind of that situation. But then there was also a scene of someone got run over by a car, and then I saw a magician who was probably Phoenix's daughter. Very interesting. We'll have to see how it goes. But yeah, I'll see you guys at the latest on Friday, but ideally tomorrow. So, see you guys then.